It is 6 minutes now past the hour, 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. We are doing everything we can to keep you apprised of a situation in Wilson County and into Smith County where there is a report of a tornado about halfway between Lebanon and Carthage. It is there is said to be rotation and 1-inch hail associated with this storm. And then right behind that area of rotation, which has been picked up on radar, we also have just one really ugly storm just south of Lebanon that seems to be popping up. These storms have come out of nowhere. They weren't there a short time ago. And the conditions are just right where these thunderstorms are blowing up very quick south of Lebanon. But again, if you're in Carthage right now, you might want to take to your safe space because we have a report of a tornado in between Lebanon and Carthage. It is moving from the west to the east and 1-inch hail and heavy rain. I would just say if you're in Wilson County, Smith County right now, be weather aware. And that storm that's south of Lebanon looks like an ugly one. That'd be just a little bit north of my current location. So we're watching it, and you need to watch it as well. There is a tornado warning for Smith and Wilson counties, and the area of concern is some rotation that is being picked up on radar between Lebanon and South Carthage. So keep your eye on that, and if you're in Carthage, out of an abundance of caution, it would be a good place to go to your safe space.
And Brian, in addition to that, the National Weather Service just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Williamson County until 3:51 this afternoon.
Well, let me widen out my look. Yes, I see that as well. These storms are blowing up quick. We've got a pretty severe storm over near Linden, a little east of Linden, and another thunderstorm that is approaching Franklin, and that one is one of those that seems to be blowing up very quickly, coming out of nowhere, but building very rapidly. So let's be weather aware, folks. A lot of stuff to keep on the watch on right now. In again, Wilson and Smith County, and now a thunderstorm warning, severe thunderstorm warning for Williamson County as a thunderstorm is west of Franklin, approaching the Franklin area. We'll try to keep you apprised of this, and you stay tuned right here to Super Talk 99.7. But again, don't take any chances if you're in Carthage right now. Let's play it safe, okay? Until we get some kind of word that the danger has passed. We may, by the way, get interrupted with these bulletins that come from the National Weather Service. That, of course, is the most urgent and most important thing that we can do at any time. So just bear with us if you are listening and we get interrupted. That's okay. We care more about the weather than any of the other things that are going on right now. Again, I'm going to just repeat one last time. Wilson, Smith County, there is an area of rotation between Lebanon and Carthage, and the storm is moving toward Carthage. And a severe thunderstorm warning in Williamson County that I'm watching on radar right now. That storm is blowing up pretty quickly. And again, that's the thing about these storms. I mean, they weren't there 20 minutes ago. I mean, they are building quickly in this area. Okay? I want to talk a little bit about the Trump trial because this is getting to be just ridiculous. You have another one of these contempt citations have been leveled against the president, another $1,000 fine. And the president, as he stopped by the cameras today, talked about that and a whole host of other things that are on his mind today.
I was in Miami this weekend, and reporters are asking me questions, the same questions like you're asking me, and I have to say I have a gag order, I can't speak about it. Never happened before, ever. Number one. Number two, it's a fake trial. They have no case, and it's been absolutely proven now. They have no case whatsoever. This is Alvin Bragg doing it for political reasons for Biden. This is a Biden trial. He's a crooked president. Now, it just came out, Columbia just canceled their commencement. Axios. Columbia just canceled their commencement. That shouldn't happen. And it also came out that the protesters, many of the protesters, are backed by Biden's donors. Okay, are you listening, Israel? I hope you're listening, Israel. Hope you're getting smart. But they're backed by Biden donors. That's where the money's coming from. And I'm not surprised at all. There's many other articles, many of them having to do with the gag order and the unconstitutionality having to do with the gag order. And it is unconstitutional, and it shouldn't be allowed. And I wish people could move a little bit quicker, the appellate courts, because the whole world is watching this, and they see what's happening. More importantly, frankly, they have no case. They have absolutely no case. It's a political hoax. It's election interference. Anything they can do, and even the witnesses they want to bring up, they have nothing to do with the case. This is a ridiculous situation. Not fair, but we will fight. Thank you.
So that was the president as he entered court today. Then he found out, well, I've been hit with another $1,000 fine. Jesse Van All is one of Trump's attorneys. He's not on this particular case, but he had plenty to say on Fox News this afternoon.
What we're seeing right now, something that we've never seen in the history of our republic. So let's look at the order that he filed that said not only would President Trump need to take down statements from his Truth Social account, but also from his campaign website. There has never been a case in American history where a judge has said that you can't put things on your campaign website without it offending the court, without having to get permission from the court. And you also have the fact that much of his order is actually very vague. And so when President Trump last week went to the court through his lawyers and said, I want to be able to post these things, is it acceptable? Judge Merchan just refused to give him an answer one way or another, effectively laying a trap for him. Because at the end of the day right now, what we're seeing is that the process is the punishment. Judge Merchan wants to be able to, during the entire pendency of this case, have control over what President Trump can and cannot say. That's something we've never seen, and that's especially important as we get information, for instance, about Michael Colangelo, the district attorney employee who's actually prosecuting, the lead prosecutor in this case. Ends up that he was actually a political consultant for the Democratic National Committee in 2018. And then he went from there to the Justice Department under Biden. He was number 3 there before he went to go after and pursue President Trump in this case. So when you have a very political prosecutor who is going after and using his position as a lawyer in order to try to put a political opponent in jail, and President Trump is prohibited from even talking about that, that's something that is extremely dangerous. It's one of the biggest affronts of the First Amendment in the history of our republic.
I think that is pretty egregious, actually. Here is more on this Colangelo situation. Matthew Colangelo. The Democratic National Committee paid Trump prosecutor Matthew Colangelo thousands of dollars for political consulting in 2018. Colangelo delivered opening statements in the unprecedented criminal trial of former President Trump and currently serves as a top prosecutor with Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office on the case. Colangelo joined Bragg's office in December of 22 after the resignations of Mark Pomerantz and Kerry Dunn, prosecutors who were investigating Trump and resigned in protest of Bragg's initial unwillingness to indict the former president. Colangelo left a senior role in the Biden Justice Department to join Bragg's team. Bragg afterward brought charges against the former president in April of 2023. So, I mean, this guy comes in, and we know that he's a political activist. He worked for the Democrat National Committee as a political consultant in 2018. And then, he leaves this job in the Department of Justice to go out there and basically step down 2 or 3 levels on the old ladder rungs to be a part of this trial. Why? Well, it would seem anybody could make a guess, but it seems to me pretty clear because this person is not really interested in the fair adjudication of the case, but really because he has it in as a political activist for this president. No surprise, no shock there. But again, pretty interesting stuff. And as far as this latest warning of jail time, the Judge Juan Merchan, ordered Trump to pay $1,000 for attacking jurors in his historic criminal trial, just days after the judge ruled on an earlier set of gag order violations. The defendant is hereby put on notice that if appropriate and warranted, future violations of its lawful orders will be punishable by incarceration, Mershon wrote. But the judge handed Trump a partial win, ruling that prosecutors had not proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump violated his gag order in 3 other statements. The gag order bars Trump from hurling insults at witnesses, jurors, prosecutors, court staff, or the judge's family. It doesn't bar him from attacking the judge himself or Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, which he has taken on occasion to do. The judge has now found Trump breached his gag order a total of 10 times. Do you think he would actually, would he have the cojones to put a former president in jail? And if he did, one wonders exactly how that might work. I think it would work to Trump's advantage, because I think people are already pretty much got this figured out, that this is a political prosecution and sort of a sham of a trial. And so, we already decided not to bring it one time. And then, when pressure was brought to bear, they eventually brought the case and brought in a bunch of people from the Department of Justice. And as we're finding out, people who had some political leanings and political activism in their past, working as an actual political consultant for the Democrat National Committee. So, it's not fair at all that Trump is put in this situation and he can't make any real comments about the fact that what we've learned about Colangelo. So again, not fair, not right. Trump is being kept off the campaign trail. He has been threatened with jail time, but I don't think this judge really has what it takes to put the former president behind jail. I think it's a hollow threat, but if he did, I have to tell you, I think it would work absolutely against the Democrats. And remember, I think this is very much a political prosecution. So they are thinking about these things. Go ahead and threaten, but I sort of double dog, triple dog dare you to even for 1 hour put this former president, behind bars, because I think that would escalate things quickly, and you would find out just how much the American people detest what's going on in this courtroom. All right, so to recap, I think we still have a very serious situation with a couple of thunderstorms, and one of them was up near Wilson, now into Smith County. It's now approaching Carthage, but I think, if I'm correct, by looking at our partners at Channel 4, I don't think they're seeing rotation as much as they did a moment ago. But this second storm that blew up that was south of Lebanon is now moving in a pretty rapid direction toward Gordonsville. And just north of my location here, north of Alexandria, north of Watertown. And then again, a thunderstorm warning and for Williamson County for a storm that has blown up out of nowhere and is really built up very quickly, that is now just west of Franklin, approaching Franklin in Williamson County. So stay tuned right here to Super Talk 99.7. We'll try to balance all of these things going on with the weather and still bring you a little bit news. It is 20 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock. Let me tell you about my friends at Stoltzko. Do you want to get a pole barn? And if you need a pole barn, then the brothers who run Stoltzko are the company that you need to talk to. Exceptional quality, craftsmanship, and fair prices. They can build your new pole barn to your specifications with your needs in mind. That is the Stoltzko difference. Now, pole barns can be configured in a lot of different ways. It can be a tool barn, a work barn. It can be a horse barn. It can be a garage. It can even be a place to live. That's called a barn dominium. Flexibility is key, and they do it all. They combine the classic post-frame barn look with the reliability of modern materials and techniques to give you a finished barn that will stand the test of time. They don't scrimp on quality. They don't cut corners. They believe their customers deserve only the best. So I want you to do me a favor. Just go to their website, stoltzco.com. That's STOLTZCO, stoltzco.com. Take a look at some of the things they've done for other people, and I think very quickly you're going to decide that you want to talk to them. Here's the number to call, 615-622-5992. Stoltzco is where quality workmanship and great customer service is affordable. Learn more at stoltzco.com. That's stoltzco.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, californiaclosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, californiaclosets.com.
We are staying weather aware with an eye in the sky here this afternoon as we are monitoring multiple severe thunderstorm warnings around Middle Tennessee. Got a tornado warning right now in Smith and Wilson County for the next few minutes. A flood advisory in the northern portion of the mid-state. We'll get to all that, plus a ceasefire deal agreed to by Hamas, a fatal crash here in Tennessee, and another university canceling a graduation because of protests. 3:30 Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
It's 25 minutes now past the hour, 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy. Glad that you're with us, but it's a stormy afternoon in some parts of our listening area. I mean, you may be, the vast majority of the area doesn't have much going on, but boy, where we have these isolated thunderstorms, they're impressive. They're blowing up pretty quick.
Yeah, you said it pretty accurately, Brian. These came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was, nothing happening out there,
and
maybe a
just
shower or two.
Boom, and all of a sudden they're going from green to yellow to red to purple, which, when you get to the purple,
that's when you got to look out.
That's where you got to be paying some very close attention. Now, in Williamson County, I'm watching this storm that was west of Franklin. It looks like it's going to sort of slide by just south of downtown Franklin, about halfway, come across I-65, about halfway between Franklin and Spring Hill is the way it looks to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this other storm that had the rotation in it, which has moved north of Carthage. But there's another storm that blew up pretty quickly. It's a pretty heavy thunderstorm, which is bearing down on Gordonsville from the west right now. So keep apprised of what's going on around. I want to mention that we have something going on in Israel. Hamas says that it has agreed to a ceasefire proposal with Israel. Now, this is being brokered by Egypt and Qatar, and they accepted it. Now the question is, where is Israel on the matter? And we can't get straight answers on any of this. Here is how John Kirby, who speaks on behalf of the Biden administration on national security issues, put it earlier today.
We've made clear our views about operations in Rafah that could potentially put more than 1 million innocent people at greater risk. During his call with Prime Minister Netanyahu, the president again made this clear. He also made clear that we continue to believe that the hostage deal is the best way to avoid that sort of an outcome while securing the release of those hostages. And as I said, those conversations continue. There has been a response from Hamas to the hostage deal. We're currently reviewing that response, and we're discussing it with our partners in the region. Director Burns, as you know, is there, and he's working this in real time on the ground. I won't be able to comment any further on this until we know where things stand. I hope you can understand that. I know everybody's curious about what's in this response, what the Israeli reaction to it is. I'm just not going to get ahead of the process.
Yeah, we get, look, the fact that Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire doesn't mean that Israel has. And again, this is being brokered. And I've got to tell you, history is replete with examples of how you have situations in this part of the world where you hear one thing 1 hour, and then you find out an hour later that there is a much different way of looking at it from the other side. So we don't know exactly whether this is going to be accepted. The Biden administration does not want Israel to go into Rafah. Rafah is in South Gaza, and there was a situation where the Israelis told folks in Rafah, civilians, get out of Rafah because we're going in. And then all of a sudden, because that's where the last remnants of Hamas are. They're in Rafah right now. And as soon as Israel said, okay, we're going in, get ready, then word came that, Hamas is now willing to accept a ceasefire. So all sides are sort of, it's in limbo is what I would say. There's nothing more that the Biden administration would like than to have some kind of a peace agreement in this situation. And as we look at that, it seems like it may be in the offing, it may not be in the offing, too early to tell. Here is more on that threat that Israel made and the warning they gave to civilians inside the Rafah area. The evacuation notice, which was delivered via text messages, phone calls, flyers, and media broadcast in Arabic, came after talks on a ceasefire in return for freeing some of the hostages held in Gaza faltered over the weekend. Officials familiar with the Cairo talks said the main holdup was disagreement over whether there should be a permanent end to the fighting as demanded by Hamas or just a temporary pause that is offered by Israel. There's your difference. The refusal of Hamas to any agreement that would allow the return of the hostages forces us to start the operation in Rafah. And then, as I say, as soon as they made that statement, Hamas starts saying, well, maybe we'll accept that deal that has been brokered out there by Qatar and Egypt. And so, again, we wait to hear exactly how Israel is going to react to these latest developments that we've heard about in only the last couple of hours. Again, we're watching storms west of Franklin. We're watching storms approaching Gordonsville. The storm that we're watching right now in Franklin seems like it's going to cross right halfway between Franklin and Spring Hill. So if you're on I-65 between Franklin and Spring Hill, you're about to get hit by a pretty good rainstorm. Be aware of that. It is now 31 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7.
3:31, I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. 80 degrees right now, and you heard your FARB. Weather aware throughout Middle Tennessee. We're dealing with thunderstorms, possible tornado warnings. Right now, no tornado warnings in the mid-state. We have a severe thunderstorm warning right now in Williamson County, a storm that's moving east more towards Franklin. It should be there by 3:45, which is when that warning in Wilco will end. Another severe thunderstorm warning in Leapers Fork until 3:45. Then in Macon, Sumner, and Trousdale counties, we have a flood advisory in effect until 4:30. And from these storms, we're seeing hail, wind gusts of up to 60 miles an hour. So be weather aware here. We got a weather forecast and a traffic report coming up in 5 minutes. Israel says it is still intending to invade the Gaza Strip city of Rafah, where more than 1 million Palestinians are seeking refuge. The Israeli Defense Forces say they launched 50 missiles into the city today. Karen Travers with the latest from the Biden administration.
The White House says President Biden was clear in his phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the U.S. believes a major operation in Rafah could potentially put more than 1 million innocent civilians at risk. National Security spokesman John Kirby.
We don't support ground operations in Rafah that would put the majority or even any of the civilians there at any greater risk. We want to see their safety and security allowed for and factored in.
Back here in Tennessee, a fatal crash. One person died this morning on I-40 East in Bellevue. It was around mile marker 193 near the McCrory Lane exit ramp. It was an 81-year-old driver who passed away in this collision. Officials say that early investigation shows that the driver crossed into the center median before striking a digital message sign pole. Metro Police attempting to get in contact with the man's family. No signs of impairment on the scene. Rain could have been a factor in the crash. And an Ivy League school that was at the center of pro-Palestinian demonstrations canceled its graduation ceremony. Brian Clark.
Columbia University says student feedback led it to cancel the university-wide graduation ceremony that was set for May 15th. This comes after weeks of pro-Palestinian protests on campus. There have been more than 200 arrests. And last week, the university had the NYPD clear an occupied building on campus. Columbia said the last weeks have been incredibly difficult. It's going to focus on smaller school-based ceremonies.
And that is the latest news. Again, being weather aware, have a timeline of when these storms may hit your area of Middle Tennessee. 341 Spring Hill, 352 Bethesda over in Arno by 355. Could see this storm your way in Eagleville by 415. Chapel Hill 422. And in the Midland area, could see storms headed your way by 4:47 p.m. We'll keep you right up to date here on WTN. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
You know, there are no pills or spinal creams or anything else that can magically open up your spinal disc and take the pressure off your nerves if your back is hurting. You really just have two choices. One is surgery, go under the knife, or try the non-invasive spinal decompression. Now, I had lower back problems. I had neck problems as well, and I chose non-surgical spinal decompression at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and it really helped me a lot. They're state-of-the-art facilities, and they have the latest high-tech equipment, offer the latest non-surgical procedures. Because getting better is important, Dr. Kevin Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are offering half off spinal decompression treatments and half off their KT knee machine, which is sort of like spinal decompression. This machine gently elongates the knee and then allows the healing therapy to get deep within the knee. Look, here's what you get if you go there as a new patient. You get an exam, a consultation, and your first treatment, and it only costs you $23. That's right, $23 for all new patients. You know, I put my stamp of approval on the Wellness Institute of Nashville. So why don't you call them today and set up your appointment? 615-246-5009. Again, 615-246-5009. Learn more at painisbad.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me bring you up to date on the weather situation that we have here. Look, the vast majority of the area, you might be having a little rain, but you're sitting there saying, what are you talking about? Well, I tell you, these storms are very isolated. And what they seem to have the same characteristic. They come out of nowhere, they blow up really big, very quick, and then they sort of rain out. And so, as I'm looking at them right now, this storm that is down just a little south of Franklin, right between Franklin. It looks like it's going to cross over I-65 at about Thompson's Station. So that's about to happen. But I can already see it's gone from red to orange. So, but they have had they said some hail down there.
We did get a report of hail in the 840 area down there. So, yeah. Yeah,
that's right. That's right around the half semi-beltway. And then there's another storm, say I'm watching this one, that's approaching Wilson. It's in Wilson County. It's approaching, I think it's going to come, well, it sort of looks like it's headed right for me. It's east of Smyrna, doing east. It's probably going to graze just south of Watertown and a little bit north of Alexandria. That's about 5 miles difference between those two communities. And it looks like that one is headed there. But again, the thing is that it wasn't there 10 minutes ago. It wasn't there 15 minutes ago. It was just like nothing.
Yeah, from moment to moment, these storms just kind of change.
Yeah.
One way or another.
This is a day where you need to be weather aware because you never know when one of these things is going to blow up in your backyard. And it can get very intense very quick. But I think the characteristic of these storms that I'm seeing right here is that they blow up very quickly. They get very severe very quickly. And then they don't tend to last very long. They tend to rain out and lose a lot of their punch after a few moments. But if you happen to be there when the thing's hitting its peak, it's not pretty. Here in bucolic Watertown, right at the moment, we have, I would call it, pretty heavy rain coming in. So we're, lovely day if you're a duck. I want to bring out this Kristi Noem story. Look, by the way, if we have to stop, this is a long cut of Kristi Noem this weekend on Meet the Press. And, my advice to Kristi is stop talking about this. You're digging yourself into a hole every time you talk about it. Look, whether you think she was right to kill the dog or where she was wrong to kill the dog, my problem with the whole thing is why in the hell would you put it in your book? And there's a story in Politico that says she was told not to put it in her book by her editors, and she overrode them. Here is Kristi Noem, and again, we may have to stop if I need to interrupt to tell you about what's going on weather-wise, but Kristi Noem this weekend on Meet the Press.
I wonder if you have regrets about sharing this story.
You know, Margaret, this book is filled with vulnerable, painful moments in my life, filled with times where I've made very difficult decisions. The reason that this story is in the book because people need to understand who I am and some of those difficult decisions. This was a dangerous animal that was killing livestock and attacking people. And I had little children at the time. Our operation had many kids running around and people in interaction with the public. And I made a difficult choice. I think you're a mother too, and you have little kiddos. Would you make a choice between your children or a dangerous animal? And I think I would ask everybody in the country to put themselves in that situation, because that's what I faced. And I talk about it because what I'm tired of in this country is politicians who pretend to be something that they're not, that they aren't willing to have the hard conversations and look at the past and the tough decisions that they've made. What I talk about in the book extensively when people are able to get it on Tuesday is to see the whole story and the truth, not the spin that the media has put on this story. The media has put some or removed most of the facts, and what the reason this is in there is because I want people to know that I don't ask anybody else to take on my responsibilities. I understood my responsibility, and as a mom, I made a choice between protecting my children and protecting them from a dangerous animal that was killing livestock and attacking people. And, and that's the decision that I made.
I described, I think, accurately how you wrote it up in the book. You didn't say the dog attacked people. You said it had tried to bite you. And I just wonder why you concluded that a young dog was untrainable and not just take it to a shelter.
This dog was a working dog, and it had come from a family that already had issues with this dog. And I had put months and months of training into this dog. This dog had gone to other trainers as well. So all of that is the facts of the story, and all of that shows that when you put someone in a position where they have to make a decision and they want to protect their family and protect children and other people from getting attacked from an animal that has attacked others and killed livestock, that's the choice I made over 20 years ago. And that I didn't ask somebody else to take that responsibility for me, that I had to make that decision myself.
Because you put it in a part of a chapter called Bad Day to Be a Goat. And then after you shot the dog, you, quote, realized another unpleasant job needed to be done. Walking back up to the yard, I spotted our billy goat. You said he smelled and would chase kids, so you took him to the gravel pit and shot him twice. How do you justify that? How was the goat a threat? And I'm asking you this because it seems like you're celebrating the killing of the animals.
Not at all. This has been a story that my political opponents have tried to use against me for years. It's well known in South Dakota, and it has been to other people. And I want the truth to be out there and to understand that these animals were attacking my children, that we live on a farm and a ranch, and that tough decisions are made many times. And it is to protect people. And I'll tell you, the extremism of other people and how they have attacked me politically. I understand it. They're doing the same thing to me that they do to Donald Trump every day.
Yeah.
Every day, the constant attacks and coming after me. During COVID,
Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich said killing the dog and then writing about it ended any possibility of her being picked as VP. You talk multiple times about it. In fact, at the end of the book, you say the very first thing you would do if you got to the White House that was different from Joe Biden is you'd make sure Joe Biden's dog was nowhere on the grounds. Commander, say hello to Cricket. Are you doing this to try to look tough? Do you still think that you have a shot at being a VP?
well, number one, Joe Biden's dog has attacked 24 Secret Service people. So how many people is enough people to be attacked and dangerously hurt before you make a decision on a dog and what to do with it?
Well, he's not living at the White House
That's
anymore.
the question that the president should be held accountable to.
You're saying he should be
That's
shot?
what the president should be accountable to, is what is the number? And I would say about Republicans criticizing me, these are the same Republicans that criticized me during COVID. They've criticized me when I've made other decisions in South Dakota to protect my state.
Now, to be real clear, when I say it was cut out of the book, it was cut out of her first book, which was called Not My First Rodeo. But this new book, she insisted that it stay in, and her publishers did allow it to stay in. So that's what we're talking about now. And I just don't understand why somebody didn't think this was a bad idea. But one way or the other, I think that, the end result here is that Kristi Noem keeps doubling down on this, and and it's just not, you're never going to convince animal lovers that you did the right thing. And again, I get being from West Texas and, growing up in ranch country and having the roots in a more rural area. I get that people on farms and ranches look at animals differently than, you look at your beloved pet. This is not a pet. This was a working dog. And most people don't understand, they don't understand what a working dog is. It's a hunting dog. It has, you bring this dog along for certain skills. And if the dog, tends to have violent tendencies, and is killing chickens and doing things like that, then you need to make a decision that, maybe this dog is just not going to work out. There's no, were there other options available to her? There are always other options, but it's just not the way people who live on ranches and farms think about this. I can assure you that they don't. So in the end result, it's never going to be a sell to people who love their cats and love their dogs and can't imagine ever having to just take a dog out and shoot it. They're never going to be on board with that. And so what I think has happened here is she has essentially sort of talked herself out of serious consideration for the vice presidency. Yeah, that's just, I don't know that it would be the thing that people kept talking about endlessly. And again, remember, she comes from South Dakota. It's not like there's a whole lot else she brings to the table other than her own personality. And if people have a problem with her personality and the way she approached this matter, then it's not going to work out. So I think Noem is out as a vice presidential running mate. And again, I have to question why in the world she thought it was a good idea to put it in this book. And quite frankly, in the second book, I think we asked her editors the same question. Returning to the weather very quickly, we have one storm moving across I-65 right now, south of Franklin in the Thompson Station area. We have another storm that is moving toward Cookeville from the west, and we have another storm that is moving, well, right now I would say it's hitting Watertown as the moment, and so far all I'm seeing is heavy rain at my broadcast location. But let me just say this one more time. This is an afternoon where you may think everything's fine, and then the next thing you know, you've got a pretty intense storm bearing down on you, because these are isolated, and then they blow up very quickly, and then they tend to rain out pretty quickly. So we're going to have sort of a rock and roll afternoon. Still have severe thunderstorm warnings in Wilson County. There's a storm headed toward Cookeville area right now with a tremendous amount of lightning in it. And so we're watching that one as well. 50 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. You know, the chairman of the Federal Reserve has said that the United States is on an unsustainable fiscal path. You know they're not going to be able to pay off that $34 trillion debt anytime soon. They'll just print money to pay interest on the debt and thus debase the U.S. dollar. Well, why don't you do something about making another kind of investment? Maybe you've thought about adding gold or other precious metals to your portfolio, but you feel like you don't have the knowledge you need to make a smart decision. Well, that's the way I felt, but I got the professional guidance I needed at Nashville Gold and Coin. I mean, how many times have you heard someone describe something as being the gold standard? Well, when it comes to finding an investment that protects you from runaway inflation, gold is the gold standard. It's a tried and true store of value consistent across generations. Gold and silver can be a safe haven in uncertain economic times, and my friends at Nashville Gold and Coin are standing by to answer all your questions about the precious metals market. Now, the way this works is you make an appointment, a one-on-one appointment. You sit down with my friends at Nashville Gold and Coin. They answer your questions and help you make the precious metal investment that is right for you. It's friendly. You'll learn a lot. You'll never be subjected to a high-pressure sales pitch. So to set up that one-on-one appointment, just go to NashvilleGoldandCoin.com. That's NashvilleGoldandCoin.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at MembersNutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to MembersNutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to MembersNutrition.com. Once again, MembersNutrition.com.
Tracking thunderstorms around Middle Tennessee. We'll let you know where the thunderstorm warnings are. The latest on the Donald Trump hush money trial. Growth in Murfreesboro. It's at a crazy pace. And some news coming out of the Israel-Hamas war today. All at 4. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, just to bring you up to speed on where we are, there is a pretty substantial thunderstorm between Gordonsville and Cookeville right now, moving toward Cookeville. There is a little line of thunder showers that's about to run through the Alexandria, Watertown area, maybe even, no, it's going to be north of Liberty. And then that storm we've been watching down in Williamson County is and we just had another one go up. I believe this is there's the Columbia area. They are watching a storm there that I don't know. It may weaken by the time it gets to Columbia the way it looks right now, but they're watching it very closely. So look, just be really aware that these things are popping up quick. I mean, they go from being nothing to being something in very short order, and when they do. They rain intensely, and we've even had one that had some rotation in it, and then it turns into they rain out pretty quickly. Now I'm looking out my window right now, and it is. I don't know. Let me just see if you can hear that. Can you hear it?
I don't hear anything. What are we supposed to be hearing, Brian? I don't hear anything.
I'm trying to turn my gate off so that you can hear it. But I mean, I'm hearing little pings of ice against the window.
I think we could hear some of that hail.
Yeah. It seemed like we're getting a little bit of hail, and I mean, it is coming down in Watertown. And this is there's sort of a little line that came up out of nowhere, intense lightning, and I mean, it is. I'm telling you, it's intense rain. And so we've got these areas are like what I want you to know is they're blowing up so quickly. They rain intensely, and then they do seem to rain out pretty quickly. I need to tell you about the markets very quickly, though. Markets today were up in the green. Dow Jones Industrial up 176 points. S&P up 52. The NASDAQ is up 192. So all the screens were green. For more on what's driving the markets today, let's check in with John Maxon over at Beacon Capital Management.
Yeah, good afternoon, Brian. Yeah, the S&P actually just saw the best 3-day move since November. A light week with economic reports. However, earnings season is really happening, and it's beating expectations which the market likes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. But really, the market was expecting the Fed to be more hawkish last week, and it was less hawkish, so they're anticipating rate cuts sooner than later. Going to be several Fed officials are going to be coming out. It's affectionately known as Fed Speak Week, so the market's going to be watching that really closely, and then consumer sentiment at the end of the week. So that's what we want to be watching this week.
All right, and to find out more about all the things that John Maxon and the other folks at Beacon could do for you, just go to their website, askbeaconnow.com. It's 4:01 on Super Talk. Time for the news. But I'll tell you about Restoration Wellness Med Spa first. Let the team at Restoration Wellness help you achieve your summer goals. Restoration Wellness is a leader in weight loss management here in Wilson County, and summer is just around the corner. Call the Restoration Wellness team today at 615-470-8124 or visit them at their website, restorationwellnessmedspa.com, to book a consult today. My friends Carly and Jamie will take good care of you like you're one of their own. And you could be part of the 1,000 patients who have already seen life-changing results from the weight loss management program. Gain your confidence back just in time for summer. Weight loss can increase your energy levels, improve your quality of sleep, and enhance your overall health. And these treatment plans are customized for you, looking at your unique needs, your lifestyle, and your goals. Whether your goal is to lose stubborn body fat or improve your overall health, Restoration Wellness has a solution for you. Learn more about the newest technology in weight loss management. Go to restorationwellnessmedspa.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Let's call it 4:04 here. I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Currently 79 degrees, a rainy and stormy day on Music Row. Severe thunderstorm warnings around Middle Tennessee. Right now, we've got Smith, DeKalb, Wilson, Marshall, Rutherford, and Williamson counties with a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4:15. Again, that's Smith, DeKalb, Wilson, Marshall, Rutherford, and Williamson counties until 4:15. Over in Macon, Sumner, and Trousdale counties, we have a flood advisory until 4:30. And in these storms, we're seeing hail, wind gusts of up to 60 miles an hour. A lot of lightning has been tracked in these storms. They are moving east fairly quickly. We'll keep you up to date right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Got a traffic report plus that complete weather forecast 5 minutes away. The latest from the Donald Trump hush money trial. Here's Derek Dennis.
A short mid-afternoon break in the continuing hush money trial of former President Trump. Before the break, testimony from longtime Trump Organization Accounts Payable Supervisor Deborah Tarasoff. She was on the job when Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, submitted invoices in 2017 to be reimbursed for hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels.
What prosecutors are doing this afternoon essentially is continuing down that chain of command for those who worked in the financial department of the Trump Organization, because these are the individuals that quite literally got the invoices, entered them into the system, and cut the checks that Donald Trump would ultimately sign. Or in other words, all of the records that prosecutors now say constitute the 34 false business records counts that Donald Trump is facing.
Back here in Tennessee, growth in Murfreesboro. News 2 reports that Rutherford County schools are in the top 100 in the nation as far as largest school districts, with over 51,000 students currently in pre-K through 12th grade. School officials say that will grow next year by possibly 2,000 students. They're keeping up through construction projects. Right now, they have 3 high schools undergoing additions to their campuses. 100,000 square feet is going to be added to Riverdale, Oakland, and Smyrna campuses. The project's expected to be completed by August of next year. That's the same time a new elementary school scheduled to be open off of Baker Road. And the United States now confirming that the Palestinian militant organization Hamas today accepted a ceasefire proposal to exchange hostages and prisoners and provide humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. It's not entirely clear what is contained in the ceasefire proposal, but Israel saying it is not the same proposal that was under discussion. Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said the proposal is far from Israel's necessary requirements. Here's Karen Travers with the latest from the Biden administration.
The White House says President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke before Hamas announced it had accepted a ceasefire proposal, so the two leaders couldn't discuss a potential U.S. and Israeli response. National Security spokesman John Kirby wouldn't go into the details of what was currently on the table or whether the administration believes this is the final offer from Hamas.
We still believe that reaching an agreement is the absolute best outcome, not only for the hostages, but for the Palestinian people. And we're not going to stop working to that outcome.
And that is the latest news. Make sure you keep tracking those storms. Liberty and Dowelltown, you'll see those by around 4:05. DeKalb County, 4:19. Temperance Hall, 4:19. Over there in Tennessee Tech, around 4:20. Cookeville and Cookeville High School, 4:21. And Algood, 4:27. You'll start seeing those storms develop over in your area. Stick to WTN for the latest traffic, weather on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
It is 11 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. We're trying to do two things here. Once, try to bring you up to date on what's going on in the world around you, but part of that is thunderstorms that are crossing through our area right now. And what's really interesting about these thunderstorms is that they come out of nowhere. I mean, I'm looking at one right now that's blowing up just north of Brentwood, and it wasn't there 3 minutes ago. I mean, it shows up quick, and they blow up, and they go from yellow to orange to red, and in a couple of cases, purple, and then they rain out very quickly. But if you happen to be in the area where these things are happening when they hit their peak intensity, it's something, as I just witnessed here in Watertown about 5 minutes ago. In fact,
Ooh, I heard that.
Yeah. Let me I have a device on my microphone that cuts out a lot of the background noise, but I'll turn it off for a moment so you can pick that up. Yeah, I mean, it was coming down really hard, and little pings of ice against the window, and The trees were blowing very intensely. And this is what we're talking about. Now, that storm is just now a little east of Watertown. And it looks like they just put up another window where they're sort of watching that one very closely. There's a very intense storm just west of Cookeville. There seems to be one that's going to skirt north of Cookeville, and this one that's west of Cookeville right now will probably go just a little south of town center. Looking out there in Columbia, there's a storm that is... It almost rained out and then it revived, and that's just to the west of Columbia. The one that crossed across I-65 a few moments ago is going to skirt south of Murfreesboro, and it's still a lot of lightning and thunder. Now, none of these have any rotation in them at the moment that we've been able to spot up on, but nonetheless, when they come through, and you hit them at the peak, you're going to get a boatload of water, a lot of high wind, and maybe even some hail has been reported in these storms. So I just want to keep you apprised of all that. The line, it's basically a line that runs from about, let's say Cookeville down to Columbia, sort of like a 45-degree slash across the area. But there are other areas in between where there's nothing going on. I mean, these things are weird in that they just come out of nowhere. That one, like I said, just north of Brentwood in South Nashville right now, literally wasn't there 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and it was very strange because I could see the sky out the window get real dark a few minutes earlier, and I thought, okay, what's this all about? And then all of a sudden I see it pop up on the radar that the storm's coming through Southtown.
I've seen this before, but I mean, wow, these things are, when they hit their peak, they're very intense, and then they sort of rain out. They sort of lose their punch. Can you hear that? Yeah, the sound of thunder and lightning. Lightning and thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening here in Watertown today. All right. I'll turn back on the magic filter so you don't have to listen to it anymore. See how magically that went away?
Wow, it's quiet.
I know, it's quiet. See, I can just turn off the background noise. It's amazing, the magical tools that we have here at our disposal. Let's go ahead and do this as an election update because we got, I don't know, with all this weather going on, I got a lot of stuff to go through. These numbers are pretty interesting. General election, I'm going to give you job approval numbers, because that is a key decider in how people are going to vote. Biden's job approval is only 35%. That's a pretty low number, and the disapproval number is 57%. And of that 57%, 42% strongly disapprove of the job he's doing as president. That doesn't bode well for a presidential campaign. I'm going to just start, sticking to the Real Clear Politics average of polls, because I think that's probably the most accurate way to let you know what's going on. In the general election five-way, that's with Trump, Biden, Kennedy, Stein, and West, Trump leads by 2.7 on average. That's taking all of the polls that we've had in like the last 10 polls and averaging them together. And then the battleground, the Real Clear Politics average of battleground polls has it this way. Remember, some states are going to be blue and some states are going to be red, and elections are won in the battleground states. Battleground, Arizona, Trump up by 5. Georgia, Trump up by 3.8. Michigan, a little tighter, Michigan up by 1.2. And Pennsylvania, Trump up by 1. North Carolina, Trump up by 5.4. Nevada, Trump up by 4.5. And Wisconsin, Trump up by 1.8. Trump people, by the way, saying that they may have a real good chance of turning Virginia from blue to red, and they think they might also have a good chance of doing that in Minnesota, which is not a battleground state, but probably should be, because it looks like it may be in play. All right, some stuff. ABC News, ABC This Week, they revealed a lot of details on their poll, and it's very clear that Biden is losing minority and young voters.
And Biden seems to be struggling with key demographic groups that he would need to win, and win big, if he stands a chance of being reelected.
John, there is significant softness in the support for Joe Biden among core Democrats. In this poll, he's carrying black voters by 61 points. Well, that sounds like a lot, but he carried them by 84 points back in 2020. Latino voters, a very slight Biden edge in this poll, but it was a 21-point advantage in the exit polls back in 2020. And among younger voters under 30, we're actually seeing Trump with a slight edge. That was a big win for Biden last time around. It's particularly stark to see that difference among voters of color. Black voters under age 50, far less likely in this poll to say they're supporting Joe Biden than older black voters.
All right, so there's that. And then here are some of the issues that they found in their poll.
We're starting to see some daylight open up on the issues that are most salient to voters in polls. Immigration, economy, crime and public safety. These are all Trump areas. He's got a significant advantage in trust in handling these issues. The only areas where Biden has an advantage, healthcare and protecting abortion rights.
Yeah, there you go. So let me talk about some other things. According to the Washington Examiner, Biden at risk of putting off centrists as he appeals to his left flank. When President Joe Biden's been making overtures to more liberal Democrats, he may have undercut himself with his party's centrists and independents before November. But Biden, acting as consoler of chief in Charlotte, North Carolina on Thursday, after the shootout deaths of 3 U.S. Marshals and a local police officer, could mark the start of him making amends. Biden could conceivably alienate centrist Democrats with policies designed to appeal to the left flank, like student loan forgiveness, or even efforts to combat climate change. But he is apparently they're now coming to the understanding of that, and will try to be making more centrist-like appeals. I mean, what's the old saying? Is that he's doing it backwards. If you follow the old maxim, run to the middle run to the left and then run to the middle. So I guess maybe he's doing it right. He's running to the left first, and then after you secure your base, then you run to the middle. And so maybe he's now starting to make that move toward the middle. Doug Schoen, who was a Democrat pollster, but someone I've always had a good relationship with, and someone who will just tell you how it is. He gives you the good news, the bad news, the ugly news. He's just a straight shooter. He says that Biden's quiet comeback may be over. Immediately following President Biden's State of the Union address in March, the incumbent president saw something of a small surge in the polls. Now, just 2 months later, it increasingly appears that Biden's quiet comeback is running out of steam, sort of like these thunderstorms. Through mid-April, Biden's surge persisted, creating the illusion that Biden had finally found his stride and would ride that momentum into the election. However, polls released this week paint a very bleak picture. A new national poll from CNN shows former President Donald Trump up by 6 in a head-to-head horse race, 49-43. Worse, just 1/3, 34% of voters approve of Biden's handling of the economy, a tried and true metric of how Americans will likely vote. Will the enthusiasm gap matter in 2024? Just 39% of voters are enthusiastic about the impending rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The lack of excitement is no surprise. Both men have, their negatives. What is surprising, however, is the large partisan enthusiasm gap. According to fresh polling from Monmouth, 63% of Republicans are very or somewhat enthusiastic about the election compared to just 36% of Democrats. That's huge. That's huge, because what I'm getting is that a lot of people who may not be able to bring themselves to vote for Donald Trump, so they may actually sit out this election. They may sit on their hands, and so 36% of Democrats are enthusiastic. That's a 27-point gap. That's huge. That's a huge enthusiasm gap. So the way it looks for me right now, what's going to happen here is that Republicans are going to show up at the polls, and a great number of, some minority voters, some very young voters who are just disillusioned with Biden may not be able to bring themselves to vote for Trump, but maybe they won't vote at all. And that is something that we should watch very closely going forward. Trump reports a $76 million fundraising haul in April. That's big stuff. And the DNC is preparing for violent pro-Hamas protests at the convention. Oh, Lord. This is one I'm glad I'm sitting out. I'm not going to that convention. 22 minutes now past the hour, 4 o'clock. You know, the weather's getting warmer. That means grilling season upon us. If you're a fan of Legend Steakhouse like I am, you can enjoy some of those same flavors right at home, right on your very own grill. All you got to do is take a walk down your local grocery store aisles, places like Walmart and Kroger, and look for Johnny Fleeman's very own brand. Johnny Fleeman's marinade proprietary blend will give your steaks, chicken, or chops a flavor that will hit a home run with family and friends. It's low in sodium, about a third of other brands, and you don't have to worry about over-marinating. You can also use his marinade to enhance almost any dish, your favorite rice recipe, fresh vegetables, just about anything. And don't forget his honey mustard salad dressing, the South's favorite. Use it as salad dressing or a dipping sauce for your favorite chicken fingers, fresh-cut veggies, or chips. It's been in his restaurant for some 35 years. If your favorite grocer isn't stocking Johnny Fleeman products, ask them to do so. For more information, go to johnnyfleeman.com. And it goes without saying, for those times when you want someone else to do the cooking, they'll always be glad to see you at your nearest Legend Steakhouse for lunch or for dinner.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Tracking weather in Middle Tennessee. Donald Trump, could he have to do jail time if he keeps violating these gag orders? Plus, we'll have today's money news, 4:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, let me just spend the last few minutes that I have before we go to news to try to bring you up to speed on where we are seeing these very intense storms blow up. There is one just to the west of Columbia. There is one, I would call it, it's a little north of Eagleville. It's going to scrape just past the south side of Murfreesboro. That one that was in Brentwood is now just to the east of the airport, B&A, and seems to be headed almost due east. There is a storm that was a little east of Liberty, which is now moving into towards Sparta. There's a very severe storm that's moving toward Cookeville right now from the west. So all of these areas are starting to really cause some problems. Again, the thing is what's amazing is if there for a moment, I got another one coming through, another wave coming through the Watertown area, not as intense as the first one, but there for a while it would look pretty nice outside.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It got really dark out my window about 20 minutes ago, and now I'm seeing some cracks in the clouds and some blue sky behind it. So very strange.
Yeah. So again, this is a weird one. And again, none of these seem to have any rotation in them. Tornado, no tornadic. We did have some rotation reported in one early on, but none lately.
We do have 2 tornado warnings that have just gone into effect.
Well, okay.
Until 5 o'clock, DeKalb and White County.
Yeah, I see that. It's a red box. Okay, that would be the one that is just north of Smithville, moving towards Sparta. And so those are a couple of storms. That's one we need to watch. I see what they're looking at. That has the sort of the classic look of a hook in that cloud. So in that thunderstorm. So we'll watch that very closely. And again, yes, it's Smithville. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I spoke just a moment too soon. Listen, be very weather aware, and if you're in the, I would say, Smithville to our Sparta area, along I'm trying to get the name along 70, the Sparta Highway, it's going to get a little intense for you here in the next few moments. Let's call it 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7.
4:30, I'm Mac Morey with your top story. And yes, it is rainy. It's stormy in Middle Tennessee. We're tracking these quick-moving storms across Tennessee right now. Currently 80 degrees in the state. And we've got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5 o'clock. That's in Davidson, Rutherford, Wilson, Putnam, and Witt counties. We also have a tornado warning that just went into effect. That's in DeKalb and White counties until 5 o'clock. We've seen reports of up to 60-mile-an-hour winds in these storms, plus hail, and we've seen hail in over an inch in diameter, bigger than a nickel. And of course, we do also have a flood advisory. This is in the northern portion of the mid-state. This is Macon, Sumner, Trousdale counties, and that has now been extended until 6:30. A flood advisory there. We'll keep you up to date right here. Forecast traffic report just ahead in 5 minutes. 3 times and you're in prison. The judge in the criminal hush money trial of Donald Trump today punished the former president for the second time for violating a gag order, fining Trump $1,000, and then told Trump a third reprimand could carry prison time. Olivia Rubin on a possible Trump incarceration.
ABC News has reported that Secret Service has previously been involved in conversations surrounding what some sort of potential incarceration for Donald Trump would look like here. So it's not clear because it has never been seen before. The idea of it hasn't ever really been thought of before. So it will sort of be across that bridge when you get there type of scenario.
Trump could end up going to jail for up to 30 days if a judge does see fit. Now over to some money news. Chuck Sievertson.
The Dow closed 177 points higher. The S&P 500 up 53. The Nasdaq up 193. Vice President Kamala Harris in Detroit announcing a new wave of investments in grants for small and medium-sized auto parts manufacturers. The White House saying this $100 million deal will help suppliers pivot from manufacturing internal combustion engine parts to parts for electric vehicles. The online brokerage Redfin has agreed to pay $9.25 million to settle federal lawsuits that claim U.S. homeowners were saddled with artificially inflated broker commissions when selling their homes with the company. Robinhood Markets, Inc. received a notice from the SEC on alleged security violations at its crypto division. Company saying in a regulatory filing that it's received subpoenas on issues including cryptocurrency listings, custody of crypto, and platform operations. Company says it's cooperating with the investigation.
And that is the latest news. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
So are your retirement assets structured to minimize taxes? This might be hard to believe, but many hardworking Americans just like you could be overpaying on taxes in retirement. You could be taxed on your IRA, your 401k, and any other tax-deferred retirement accounts. Now, Beacon Capital Management can give you peace of mind on this. With the threat of massive tax increases just around the corner, your nest egg could be in trouble unless you take advantage of defensive tax-saving strategies now. Defend your hard-earned retirement savings by scheduling a free retirement tax reduction analysis today. Here's the thing. There's no cost, no pressure, no obligation if you've saved more than $250,000 for retirement. Don't wait any longer to schedule your free retirement tax reduction analysis from Beacon. Just call this number. You ready? Call Abrams. Write it down. 615-488-9303. That's 615-488-9303. To learn more, just go to their website, askbeaconnow.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Well, we're watching a couple of pretty good storms that have some rotation reported in them. One is just east of Liberty, and one is just east of Smithville, sort of a 1-2 punch there. And both of those storms seem to be having a little bit of rotation reported in them. And this would be Liberty, Smithville, right along the Sparta Pike, and headed in the direction of, well, Sparta. So let's watch that one very closely. The other areas where we're seeing severe storms right now, let me just go through. We got a storm coming just south of Murfreesboro, south and west of Murfreesboro right now, which has some intensity to it. That storm that came through South Nashville a short time ago is now just to the east. I'll look at it. East of, it's well east of the B&A, and seems to be headed right toward me.
Right at you. Yeah.
Right at me. There we go. We're watching that one. And then, let's see. Cookville's got a pretty good storm going on it, but it's that one that we're watching right now that has the rotation in it is, I would say, is east of Smithville, headed toward Sparta. The way it looks right now, going to scrape just to the north side of proper downtown Sparta. So a lot of activity going on out there. And here's the weird thing. We had, a moment ago, we had the most intensive thunderstorm I've seen in a while come through here in Watertown. I mean, it was coming down at an angle, and the trees were blowing around, and there were little pings of ice, like small hail on the window. And now, it's like you go out and walk your dog in this. I mean, it's nothing, not a thing to worry about. So that's the thing about these things. They're not very big, but they come out of nowhere. They get very intense for a short period of time, and then they just sort of rain out very quickly. But I guess we got to watch that one right now that I would say is the one to watch right now is the one east of Smithville, which did seem to have some rotation in it. Mount Juliet. You don't think of astronauts as coming from Mount Juliet. But that Butch, his name is Barry Butch Wilmore, graduated from Mount Juliet High School in 1981, went on to Tennessee Tech, where he got an electrical engineering degree. And today, tonight really, about 9:34 Middle Tennessee time, if everything stays on track, he will launch to the International Space Station aboard a brand new Boeing spacecraft. There have been two companies that got contracts from NASA to build spacecraft that could go to the International Space Station. One is SpaceX, and they've had theirs up and running for a while now. It's interesting. They didn't get near as much money as Boeing, but they got theirs up and running pretty quick. Isn't that interesting? Boeing has been beset by delays, but tonight they are going to, for the very first time, put a crew aboard that spacecraft and launch it and take it to the International Space Station if all goes well. That will happen at 9:34 Middle Tennessee time. And Barry Butch Wilmore will be aboard. The thing I love about this guy is that he is a man of space and a man of faith. He's been to the space station a couple of times, 2 space flights, 178 days in space. And he says, this is how he describes it. The magnitude of the Creator is in all of it. To view the heavens and this planet the Lord designed to support life is just absolutely amazing. It's hard to put into words, actually. Wilmore, who connects his firsthand view of the universe's orbital mechanics to his self-described biblical worldview, is about to go on a third launch as the commander of NASA's Boeing Starliner to travel to the International Space Station. The trip will be the first crewed flight made by the Starliner. The flight test will help NASA determine whether the Starliner system is ready to fly regular crew rotation missions to the space station. And he is well known and well recognized at Mount Juliet High School. Principal Ryan Hall, or make that Hill, says that he makes a point to emphasize Wilmore's accomplishment to new students. He says it shows kids that you can do pretty much whatever you want. He's definitely an inspiration. He played football at Mount Juliet High, graduated in 1981, before going to Tennessee Tech University, where he was the team captain. Mount Juliet Middle School's football field, where he played his games when he was in high school, is named after him. It means a lot to my family, said Wilmore's father, Eugene Wilmore, about the city and the school's pride for his son. Again, graduated from Tennessee Tech with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering at 85, a master's degree in electrical engineering in 1994, inducted in the school's Sports Hall of Fame in 2003. He has participated in live chats from space with Tennessee Tech students. He has 2 daughters and his wife, Deanna. They live, of course, now in the Houston area. Listen to this. He's a lay elder at the Providence Baptist Church in Pasadena, Texas, where he has taught children, been involved in a prison ministry. He's done building projects and gone on mission trips outside of the country. When I first met him, Staff Elder Tommy Don said, I asked him what he did for a living. He said, I work at NASA. Just kind of threw that out there. He didn't say, I'm an astronaut. I've been to the space station twice. No, none of that. Listen to this. This is just, I love this guy. I would love to sit down and have a cup of coffee with this guy because I think we'd all like him very much. He plans to bring memorabilia like a Predators jersey and a hat, a Tennessee Tech football and a baseball jersey, a Tennessee state flag, and local items on board the Starliner. This flight and the stay on the International Space Station is not a long one. It's basically designed to test the spacecraft. They'll only be on the International Space Station for 1 to 2 weeks. As I mentioned, NASA's Commercial Crew Program contracted with Boeing to have a spacecraft system able to travel to the International Space Station as part of a second option if one isn't operational. SpaceX is under contract with the Commercial Crew Program and has performed crew rotation missions to the space station since 2019 with its Dragon capsule. The goal when both spacecraft are certified is to rotate them regularly on space station missions as a cost-effective transportation mode that will also enhance research. Apparently, the Starliner has a great deal of automation, but according to our astronaut from Mount Juliet, it has robust backup modes, including the ability for the crew to operate it manually if necessary. There have been, as he said, a lot of delays. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a delay this evening. Would not be surprising at all when you're trying to work out all the kinks in a brand new system. But one way or the other, the commander of this flight is somebody that grew up in our area and carries our values and considers himself a Christian who happens to be an astronaut, which I love a great deal. And I love that he still thinks of Tennessee as his home state, even though he now lives, of course, all astronauts live in the Houston area near NASA, but he still considers himself very much a part of the Tennessee area. Okay, I'm going to get back to looking one more time at these storms. We still have a tornado warning up for the storm that is now, wow, there's a whole nother, man, I'm telling you, what's weird about these storms, Chris, just back me up on this, is that you look and you say, well, there was nothing there 2 minutes ago. And then boom, they just blow up so quick that it's hard to predict. Again, another big storm approaching Smithville, and there's one east of Smithville, which is the one that they had suspected rotation in. So there's that. Let's see, that storm that came out of Nashville, passed over the airport, now heading my direction, seems to be diminishing somewhat. There's this big storm that is skirting on the south side of Murfreesboro as we speak. That seems to be maintaining its a little power. Doesn't seem to be washing out very quickly. And other areas, I think that's mostly the ones we want to watch right now. Cookeville, again, another pretty heavy thunderstorm pushing through that area. Look, we need to keep an eye on this. A flood advisory now up for Wilson County because it came down a gusher right here in a short while ago. So again, we are dealing with pop-up thunderstorms that start I mean, they come out of nowhere, they blow up very big, and then they tend to rain out in pretty short order in most of the cases, but there are quite a few. And it's amazing. After those big storms that came through our area where I'm at right now in Wilson County, now it's a light rain and looks like the sun might be trying to break through. You would never know that 35 minutes ago we were in a deluge again. 48 minutes now past the hour, 4 o'clock on Super Talk. No pills or spinal creams can magically open up your spinal disc and take the pressure off your nerves. It just doesn't work that way. You have basically two choices if you have back pain. One is surgery. The other is non-invasive spinal decompression. Now, I chose non-surgical spinal decompression at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Their state-of-the-art facility and their high-tech equipment offer the latest non-surgical options. And because getting better is so important to Dr. Kevin Mitchell and Dr. Ashley, they are offering half off the spinal decompression treatment and half off the KT knee machine. And if you're a new patient, here's the thing you need to know, is that you get an exam consultation and your first treatment for only $23. And I know you got that on you. Look, I'm telling you, I've had great experience at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And I put my stamp of approval on this organization. So why don't you call them today to set up your first appointment? 615-246-5009. Again, 615-246-5009. Learn more at their website, painisbad.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Another day in the Donald Trump hush money trial. Updates out of the Israel-Hamas war on a possible ceasefire deal agreement. Vice President Kamala Harris making a big announcement in regards to electric vehicles and car manufacturing parts, and plus cicada season. It is here, and we all know about it now. 5 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, my dog, I think she likes cicadas.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, she likes to eat them.
Yeah, my dog won't stop eating them.
Oh.
And what I read was you need to watch that because, I mean, if they eat one or two, it's probably not going to be a big deal. But if they just gorge on them, you could really have some problems because those hard exoskeletons on the cicadas, apparently very hard to digest. And if there's too many of them, it can cause your little puppy a lot of peptic displeasure.
Kind of like if you eat too many shrimp without peeling them first.
Yeah.
It won't hurt you, but if you don't eat a whole mess of them, I don't know.
Yeah. Watching very quickly, just want to mention we still have a warning up for a storm that has rotation in it in the Smithville Sparta area, moving that direction from Smithville over to Sparta, right along the Highway 70 there. We're keeping an eye on that. I'm looking around the area. Well, I think this one. Let me zoom in on it. This one over in. I'm trying to get a little town that it might be near. I can't really get. It's east of Eagleville, but it's just north of Bell Buckle.
There you go. Yeah,
there you go. Everybody knows where that is. It is looking a little intense, but I think we may be through a lot of this. Again, you can't be sure because these things I know I keep repeating this, but it really is something how they just come out of nowhere and get so intense so very quickly. So, but the vast majority of all of these storms seem to be moving off to the east now. We're still watching that one in the Smithville area. It was a 1-2 punch. Two big cells came through back to back. And the first cell is now approaching Sparta. The second is just now leaving Smithville.
And that one apparently was an actual observed tornado on the ground.
Oh, really? So it's not just radar indicated.
Yep. That's what I'm understanding.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, listen, we're watching the weather. We're bringing you a lot of news and information. We got a whole nother 2 hours to go right here on Super Talk 99.7. Let's call it 57 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock. Mother's Day is almost here, and my friends at Genesis Diamonds are here to help you celebrate her in a big way. Whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th Mother's Day, she will appreciate something thoughtful and timeless from Genesis. And you don't have to break the bank. Genesis has put together a fantastic collection of sentimental gifts, things that she can wear all the time. Layered necklaces, colored gemstone bracelets, rings, pearls, eternity bands, diamond pendants. And this year, some of Genesis' exclusive designers have come in with even more great pieces, fashion-forward designs that any mom would appreciate. So stop in and let one of Genesis' trusted advisors help you find a special and meaningful gift. Let the team at Genesis do what they do best, help you find the perfect, most affordable, and most beautiful piece of jewelry for the occasion. Genesis is the premier jeweler with a reputation for high quality and extreme value. You will love the experience. Happy Mother's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
5 o'clock, I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Currently 79 degrees in Middle Tennessee. We're experiencing some rain, some storms around the mid-state. A severe thunderstorm warning right now in effect in Rutherford, Coffee, Bedford, and Cannon counties. That is until 5:30. And that tornado warning in White and DeKalb counties just now expiring again. Rutherford, Coffee, Bedford, Cannon counties with a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:30. Now, over in Trousdale, Sumner, and I believe it is DeKalb counties, we do have a flood advisory. That is DeKalb, Putnam, Smith, White, and Wilson counties, and that has now been extended. It was 6:30. That is 8 o'clock. A flood advisory, DeKalb, Putnam, Smith, White, and Wilson counties. Now, going over the Donald Trump hush money trial, another day there. Derek Dennis with updates.
A somewhat early into the day in the continuing hush money trial of former President Trump, the jury sent home just after 4 p.m. Eastern time at the end of the testimony of longtime Trump Organization Accounts Payable Supervisor Deborah Tarasoff. She was on the job when Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen submitted invoices in 2017 to be reimbursed for hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels.
What Tarasoff specifically did was receive the already approved invoices and enter them in, and then she personally cut those checks. So she was directly involved in those records. But of course, there is no indication or any sense of prosecutors here that they're trying to say she did anything wrong. But on the contrary, she said she just did what she was told.
ABC's Olivia Rubin. At the start of the day, the judge hit Trump with just another fine, $1,000 for his 10th gag order violation.
And right now in the Israel-Hamas war, Hamas saying today in a statement they've agreed to a ceasefire proposal. Israeli officials saying that proposal that it was agreed to is not the framework that was agreed upon with mediators. The Israeli military has told some 100,000 people to leave Rafah and move to what it said is an expanded humanitarian area in the Palestinian enclave. And right now the Biden administration reviewing Hamas's responses. Staying in the nation's capital, Vice President Kamala Harris announcing $100 million in grants to help parts manufacturers convert to producing parts for electric vehicles. Christiane Cordero with the latest.
While at an event in Motor City today, Vice President Kamala Harris shared incentive for small and medium-sized auto parts manufacturers. The Department of Energy will provide roughly $100 million in grants. The White House says half will go towards partnering with states to help suppliers pivot from manufacturing internal combustion engine parts to parts for the EV supply chain. Another $50 million will help auto suppliers make their facilities more environmentally efficient, according to the administration.
And cicada season is here in Tennessee. And with that, our state's trees could see some impacts. A Tennessee Tech professor saying that cicadas can cause 50 to 80% loss of canopy. He explains that younger trees are more vulnerable as well. Oak, maple, hickory, birch, and dogwood. Homeowners' best bet to use netting to protect trees from damage. He said people can buy shade cloth, tobacco cloth, cheesecloth, and cover the canopy tightly around the trunk so those cicadas can't get to it from above or below. And an update on the weather situation, a tornado warning has been issued for White County. That'll be in effect until 5:30. Again, a tornado warning in White County until 5:30. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. 5:07 on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, and we're watching the weather. The real area of concern right now is in the Sparta area, where this is where we had, it's one of these cells that is now approaching Sparta. It's one of those cells where there was an actual observed tornado, not just radar indicated. And they say that particular storm could have hail as big as an inch in diameter, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and I don't think we're now seeing the tornado with the eye, but we are still seeing rotation in that area. Then we also have a storm right now that's just south of Murfreesboro. And Chris, you said somebody texted in on the Members Nutrition Super Text line that there was some dime-sized hail.
That is correct.
All right. So again, what's the characteristic of these storms and what's so very strange about them is how they blow up and then get very big in a real hurry. Out of nothing. They just appear, and then they tend to play out pretty quickly. But most of this is moving off to the east and out of the Nashville area. There's another storm in the Centerville area right now that's a little north of Centerville. That has right along the I-40 corridor, which has a lot of lightning associated with it near the Centerville Municipal Airport in that area right now. But let me drill down on this one that we're looking at in the Sparta area. Yeah, it is sort of two cells that have sort of now started to come together. So that's a pretty intense system and a tremendous amount of lightning. This is east of Center Hill Lake. And just now approaching Sparta. And again, this is the storm in White County that has a tornado warning associated with it. And we have had not only a spotted tornado, but radar indicated rotation there. So that's the latest on all the weather. I think we're going to see this sort of wind down. What's really strange, Chris, is that as I was reading about the weather this morning in preparation for the show, it said that this is not even supposed to be the worst day this week.
Yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday are supposed to be much worse days for us. So, we're getting a decent dose of it today, and we may be doing the same thing tomorrow. So bear with us as we try to balance all these things we have going on, because when you have a tornado, a tornado warning, we have a real obligation to share that with folks, obviously. We need to tell them, hey, buckle up, here it comes. But at the same time, I recognize that many people listening around the area are not having any severe weather, maybe no rain at all. So again, we have to balance the needs of the few in that case against the needs of the many. Let's go woke world. Yeah, it's a woke world. They're not done. Come on. I know. Now you'll be singing this all day long.
Thanks for that.
I know. All right, they're done. MIT has tossed out this idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, according to the New York Post, will no longer require prospective hires to pledge allegiance to the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion as an employment condition, becoming the first elite university in the country to do away with the controversial practice denounced by free speech advocates as a political litmus test. Requests for a statement on diversity will no longer be part of applications for any faculty position at MIT, a university spokesman told the Post in an emailed statement, noting that the decision was made by MIT President Sally Kornbluth, along with the support of the provost chancellor and all 6 academic deans. My goals are to tap into the full scope of human talent to bring the very best to MIT and make sure they thrive once they are here. We can build an inclusive environment in many ways, but compelled statements impinge on freedom of expression, and they don't work, said Kornbluth quote unquote. I love that. Let's see. Similar descriptions can be found on the homepage of just about any prominent school. This is a very rare thing. It's become a common practice in higher ed in recent years, compelling faculty or research applicants to bloviate over 2 to 3 pages about their commitment to advance excellence in diversity, inclusion, and equity, and belonging as a teacher and researcher in higher education, as Harvard describes its own diversity statement requirement. Look, I got no problems with diversity. I think diversity is great. I have no problem with inclusion. I think inclusion is awesome. I have a problem with this word equity because it sounds like equality, but it's not. Equity says that we're going to have the same outcome, regardless of how much effort or ability one individual has. And so I disagree with that. I believe in an old-fashioned concept called merit. People who work hard and put in the effort and the time, nose to the grindstone, shoulder to the wheel, shoulder in the harness. That, to me, that speaks a lot, because if you have success but you know that regardless of ability or regardless of the effort or the merit that you bring to your approach to whatever it is you're trying to do, equity speaks to, well, we're just going to have, everybody's going to get like a blue ribbon. Everybody's going to get a trophy. Everybody gets the same outcome. And I think MIT, where, believe me, competition for the best and brightest is something that they care very deeply about. I mean, MIT, let's just think about this for a moment. We want the best and brightest to get into MIT. These are the people that are going to save us. I mean, I'm telling you, these are the people who will walk away with mathematical skills and engineering skills, and these are the people who, quite frankly, may be some of the brightest Americans that we have. You don't just throw away an opportunity like that in the name of equity. So it's interesting that they are now saying that that they just don't work. We just don't believe in it anymore. ABC's historic diversity hire is out as the president of ABC News, Kim Godwin, stepped down Sunday night, according to the Daily Caller, following an investigation into her management of the network. The overseer of the network, Deborah O'Connell, opened a corporate investigation into Godwin and other senior executives over the growing frustration among staffers, vacant top positions, and a drop in ratings at the prominent program, Good Morning America. Several people allege Godwin dedicated more time to her profile than creating success in the news division, and that her mismanagement shocked O'Connell. "I've decided to retire from broadcasting journalism," Godwin said in an email to staff on Sunday night, according to the Wall Street Journal. "Anyone who's passionate about what we do knows there's no business like it, so this was not an easy or quick decision. But after considerable reflection, I'm certain it's the right one for me as I look to the future and prioritize what's most important for me and my family." Her note added ABC's continues to be number one and that she's leaving with her head held high, wishing the entire team continued success. Again, from the Daily Caller, staffers have reportedly been appalled by Godwin's leadership style and the several vacant seats of key positions. CNN reported on Friday. Prominent people, including its former head of talent, Galen Gordon, and its previous Washington bureau chief, Jonathan Greenberger, left ABC News under her leadership. Several executives were laid off in March of 23. Reportedly causing a shock throughout the newsroom. Godwin told her staff the downsizing was a difficult time for the entire network, but vowed that they were on a solid footing. But now, Kim Godwin stepping down as the president of ABC News. More woke news. Transgender track runner wins 2 women's events in which the race times would have been placed last if it had been in a men's competition. Sadie Schreiner clinched a victory in the 4x400 relay as an anchor leg. Transgender college runner Sadie Schreiner won 3 women's events at the Liberty League Championship on Saturday. Schreiner of the Rochester Institute of Technology won the 400 meters with a time of 55.07 and the 200 meters at 24.14. Both times would have been last in the men's races at the meet, but they were school records in the women's category, according to the site that lists results of the meet. Wow. Schreiner also won the leg of the 4x400. That won by nearly 3 seconds. They were in 4th place when she received the baton, but she ran the fastest anchor leg of the race. Her leg was clocked at 54.91 seconds. By far the fastest anchor leg in that particular race. Schreiner was born a male named Camden, attended Hillsborough High School in New Jersey, was the 20th best 100-meter time for boys in the school, but it would be fastest for the girls. Here's some news. I mean, it's not a shock to you and me, but it's a shock to apparently a lot of people. Democrats, liberal media suddenly discover Soros and company are funding radical left causes and dragging Biden down. New report from Politico Sunday revealed the donors like Bill Gates, George Soros, David Rockefeller Jr., and Nick Pritzker are supporting organizations like Jewish Voice for Peace, and If Not Now. These have been responsible for many of the protests at college campuses. These groups, according to the outlet, are funded by the Tides Foundation, which is funded by Soros and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Mega Democrat donors facing radical left funding radical left causes, though has been an obvious connection for many Republicans who've repeatedly called it out. But apparently shocked, stunned, and amazed are the Democrats that this is happening. So the people that are hurting Biden the most in this election right now are people who are ostensibly his greatest supporters. They're supporting him, but they're also supporting a cause that is hurting him. And then there's this from the UK. Privacy and dignity will be protected by new regulations, which means the host of commercial and public buildings in the UK must now have separate loos for the men. That's what they call the bathroom over there. They call it the water closet, or I've got to go to the loo. Long discussed amendments to building regulations making separate loos available for the two sexes in new builds and major rebuild projects will take effect later this year. Government Secretary of State for Business and Trade and Minister for Women's Inequalities, Kemi Badenoch, has said, any new or rebuilt bar, restaurant, office, school, or hospital, most non-domestic buildings, in other words, must provide men's and women's bathrooms rather than what have been called gender-neutral laboratories in order to receive planning permission. 20 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock. You know, I love the folks over at DT McCall. I've done a lot of business with them over the years. DT McCall's is the place where I got my zero-turn mower, my Cub Cadet mower. It's where I buy a lot of furniture. You come into my house, I can walk around and say, that couch, which everybody comments on and just loves, that came from DT McCall. That bedroom suite, that came from DT McCall. I mean, I'm just full of DT McCall stuff. And it's because I think that it's a great place to do business. You know, they've been around for more than 100 years, and you don't get to last that long unless you have a reputation for treating people right, and I think they do. So listen, if you need something for your home, you need to just go to one of their 5 locations. If you've never been to one, you really just need to walk through the place. You're not going to believe how expansive some of these locations are. You just go around corner after corner after corner, and there's furniture, there's appliances, just about anything you could imagine for your home, you're going to find it there. And they're going to be treated well and treated with respect, and you're never going to pay extra for haul away or the setup or the actual delivery. When they give you a price, it's an honest price. Find out about all the things that they can do for you by going to their website. That's dtmccalls.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Taking a look at weather around Middle Tennessee, tracking storms and severe thunderstorm warnings. An Israel-Hamas update, a shootout in Nashville over the weekend, and a U.S. Army sergeant detained in Russia. We'll tell you all about it. 5:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, I'm not going to say it's over, but I do believe that we're through the worst of it. It looks like the tornado warnings are now all gone, so we can maybe we can start to return to normal here. Sun shining here in bucolic Watertown at the moment. And it's time for...
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat.
It's time for Mac Morey's wide, wild, wacky, weird world of sports. And now, here without further ado, the man who brings us all that stuff, the one, the only, Mac Morey, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Happy Monday.
Yeah, it is a Monday.
It's a Monday, and we're happy. Be positive.
Well, always look on the bright side, eh?
I try. Well, that's actually a good segue because you heard Weber say "a" there at the end. That's right to what we're going to talk about here. Hockey.
Not so happy.
Not so happy.
I know.
Pred season did take a tumble. It's over.
At the end, oh my gosh, that thing went ugly quick, didn't it?
Yeah, it's too bad. 1-0 was the final score. The Preds lose that series to Vancouver 4-2. They end up 3 of those losses, all coming at home in Bridgestone. You got to win one at your own rink.
You got to take care of business at home.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Yeah. That's maybe the most frustrating thing. Losing a series, you came in. This was a young team. They honestly over-exceeded expectations. Happy to make the playoffs and be in the dance, but to not have one win come out of it from Bridgestone when you were competitive in this series the whole time. You won multiple games in their side of the ice. So it's unfortunate to not have a win here. They do lose 1-0. Just couldn't get on the scoreboard. They were great on defense the whole game, playing physical as we know. It was their second string goalie who was able to come back, Solovs. 28 saves for him, so a good game from Vancouver. And overall, a good season for Nashville. I don't think the Predators fans should be upset. I mean, this was we were talking about this season a couple of months ago, guys, right here on this segment, and I was saying, you know what? The trade deadline, we'll see what happens. I'll let you know here in a week. This could be a completely different team. And it was, but in a different way. They were buyers. They weren't sellers. They actually went after being competitive, and they won a lot of games, and they look like they actually have a really good future as far as their expectations next year in the league.
Yeah, you said this is they were overachievers this season, and I agree. I think you just have to chalk this up to all right. We got a little bit of experience, guys. You guys made the push. You made the playoffs. Let's just put that in your back pocket. Remember what the experience was like, and build from there. Go forward to next season.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the crowds. You saw how intense it was. And now bring that hunger into next year and know, hey, we didn't even get to have a win on our own ice. We didn't get to give our fans the satisfaction of getting a playoff win, and they're going to want to change that.
Come get a little taste of that this year. You really want to get it.
Was though? I mean, that's a really weird thing.
It is
because you normally win at home and you don't win on the road, and they won on the road but didn't win at home.
It's very, very, very interesting.
I'm sure they're looking for an explanation for it.
Exactly. I'm sure they're looking for it. I mean, it's one of these things with the Predators team, though, that they just don't know what they don't know. They're just young, and so they're going in there throwing haymakers no matter what. They're not really thinking, oh, this isn't our ice. Oh, this is our ice. We should play. They're just going and playing hockey, which comes with pros and cons. Maybe one of those cons was not getting a win at home. So we will look to keep in track with the rest of these NHL playoffs. Got the Bruins taking on the Panthers tonight. The Bruins were able to finish out their series, beating the Maple Leafs in overtime 2-1. They were up 3-1 in that series. Maple Leafs came back 3-3. It would have been the first time a team in any major sport blew 2 3-1 leads in 2 consecutive seasons. They did that last year. They were able to stave that off from happening this season with a win. And tonight in the NBA, guys, we've got a Game 2, Timberwolves Nuggets. Minnesota did beat the defending champions in Game 1 in Denver. They'll look to do that again here tonight in Game 2. Anthony Edwards, if you look to watch any, this is a guy that eerily reflects the GOAT, number 23 in Chicago, Michael Jordan. When you watch Anthony Edwards, he reflects him. I mean, I'm serious. I would not say that lightly. The jump shot, the flying through air, the flying, not jumping, holding himself, hovering in air, that balance, that gracefulness. You see that in Anthony Edwards. And then you got Game 1, Indiana Pacers, the New York Knicks, which is a historic series as well. Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing goes back to the 90s. That should be a fun one as well.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's take off that sports hat, put on the news hat, because it's time for the news at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7.
5:30, I'm Mac Morey with your top story. 77 degrees in Music City. Severe thunderstorm warnings around the mid-state right now in effect until 6 o'clock in Warren, Coffee, and Cannon counties. We've seen hail bigger than an inch in diameter in some of these places, winds up to 60 miles an hour. Latest traffic report and that weather forecast headed your way in 5 minutes. Hamas says it has accepted a ceasefire proposal from Egypt and Qatar. Stephen Portnoy has the latest from Washington.
On first word of Hamas's acceptance of a ceasefire proposal, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller was non-committal.
We are reviewing that response now and discussing it with our partners in the region.
CIA Director William Burns remains in the Middle East, helping to broker a deal. The Israelis have yet to respond, but a group representing the families of hostages says it welcomes the announcement and urges the Israeli government to accept an agreement.
Here in Tennessee, had a shooting in Nashville over the weekend. Metro Police still investigating after a shootout left 3 people injured. Officials say the shooting took place around 8 o'clock last night, North Nashville. It happened while people were leaving a bar. 3 men were shot, ages 24, 27, and 28. All were taken to hospitals, non-critical injuries. That 27-year-old man has been determined to be one of those shooters. That is an active investigation. And a U.S. Army sergeant now being detained in Russia right now, held on charges related to theft. Christiane Cordero has the latest from Washington.
U.S. officials tell ABC News a soldier with the U.S. Army has been detained in Russia since May 2nd. Staff Sergeant Gordon Black is accused of stealing. The sergeant was in the process of relocating from South Korea to Fort Cavazos, Texas, when U.S. officials say he traveled to Russia on his own volition without permission. The White House says it is following, but hasn't shared details. The soldier is being held on pretrial detention until at least July 1st, according to the State Department.
And that is the latest news, weather, traffic on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, King Associates Insurance in Brentwood has been around for some 25 years as an independent agency, and that is what you want, friends. You want an independent agency. Why? Well, because they're not wedded to just one product. What they're going to do is they're going to look at your specific needs. They're going to go out there, they're going to shop around and find you the insurance policy that really best fits your needs. That way you get more insurance, more bang for your insurance buck. That's what you want, right? And the other thing I love about it is that they will take care of you because customer service is so important. You know, if you ever did business with one of those internet insurance companies, you know that if you call, well, it's a 2-hour ordeal to get somebody to answer your questions. And even when you get there, they're not going to be able to tell you much. If you call this number, 615-329-8121, you don't get a phone tree. You don't get a recording saying that your call is important to you when no, it's not. You actually are going to have that phone call answered by an actual human being every single time. They are the kings of the multi-policy discount. You can save big money by bundling 20, 25, 30, 35%. Huge savings are possible. So get your royal review with King & Associates Insurance. Just log into tkinginsurance.com. Again, that's tkinginsurance.com. King Insurance & Associates, royal treatment and great rates.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, californiaclosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, californiaclosets.com.
38 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy. You're listening to The Drive on this Monday, May 6th. And we're glad that you're with us. We've been monitoring the weather. I will say we have some thunderstorms that are, still have something that bears watching if they're in your area. But by and large, Chris, I think you'll agree with me, most of what we were concerned about seems to be moving off to the east. We have no tornado warnings at the moment, just a few thunderstorms popping up here and there. And this isn't even supposed to be the worst of the days. I mean, they said, well, we could have some thunderstorms today. We could have some, but the worst ones will be Tuesday, and I think they're even worse on Wednesday. So we're going to be watching it. It's just really strange. I've seen a lot of thunderstorms, and fronts move through. But these just popped up out of nowhere, got really intense very quick, and then would rain out relatively quick. So but if you caught them at the peak, they were intense. I mean, you had not only did you have the yellows, you had the oranges, the reds, the purples, and the blacks.
Yep.
I mean, and when you got a hole in the middle of that storm, that's not good. And there was a heavy rain. We do have some flash flood warnings that are up in some areas. And we did have one tornado that was spotted in the Smithville area. Yep. That was actually spotted and not just radar indicated. And we had light hail. And well, some maybe not even that light. There was one storm that indicated on radar that the hail might be an inch in diameter. So it's
pretty significant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, though, when it came through here in Watertown, we had two different sort of 1-2 punch that came through. It was intense. I mean, I'm looking out the window, I'm going, I'm wondering if the top of the garage is the right place for me to be at the moment.
Yeah, it's a legitimate concern for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, what would I do? I don't know. It just, did you hear the just turn on the microphone and let you hear it rain? But no, we never got quite that bad. Let's talk a little bit about the Trump trials that are going on. Trump got hit with another contempt for a gag order violation. Paid another $1,000. That means so far it's cost him $10,000. I always thought it'd be very cool if Trump just walked in and they said, it's another $1,000, and he just reached into his pocket and pulled out a wad of bills and just counted off hundreds. Wouldn't that be cool? What they call a Guido roll that you put in your pocket.
Kind of makes me think of Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. He just pulls out this wad of money. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. You want another 1,000? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say a few more words.
That's right. Well, anyway, in a way, he was told that you violated the gag order in one case, but on the two others that the prosecution tried to make, they said no. What I think is wrong about this is that it really is wrong of them to keep Trump from being able to defend himself. I mean, after all, we've got this story about Matthew Colangelo, who is one of the prosecutors in this particular case. And now learning that he is more than just a prosecutor, he is an absolute partisan. The Democrat National Committee paid Trump prosecutor Matthew Colangelo thousands of dollars for political consulting in 2018, according to Fox News. And this is the guy that delivered opening statements in the unprecedented criminal trial of former President Trump, and currently serves as the top prosecutor with Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office on the case. This is a guy who was at the Justice Department and left the Justice Department to go down and handle this little dinky case. Well, not a dinky case, I suppose. But, I mean, why in the world would you leave a prime position at the Justice Department to go and handle this case? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. But Trump can't talk about any of that. One of his attorneys, not on this particular case, but on some of the other cases, and there are so many, is a guy by the name of Jesse Manal. And here's how he put it.
What we're seeing right now, something that we've never seen in the history of our republic. So let's look at the order that he filed that said not only would President Trump need to take down statements from his Truth Social account, but also from his campaign website. There has never been a case in American history where a judge has said that you can't put things on your campaign website without it offending the court, without having to get permission from the court. And you also have the fact that much of his order is actually very vague. And so when President Trump last week went to the court through his lawyers and said, I want to be able to post these things, is it acceptable? Judge Merchan just refused to give him an answer one way or another, effectively laying a trap for him. Because at the end of the day right now, what we're seeing is that the process is the punishment. Judge Merchan wants to be able to, during the entire pendency of this case, have control over what President Trump can and cannot say. That's something we've never seen, and that's especially important as we get information, for instance, about Michael Colangelo, the district attorney employee who's actually prosecuting, the lead prosecutor in this case. Ends up that he was actually a political consultant for the Democratic National Committee in 2018, and then he went from there to the Justice Department under Biden. He was number 3 there before he went to go after and pursue President Trump in this case. So when you have a very political prosecutor who is going after and using his position as a lawyer in order to try to put a political opponent in jail, and President Trump is prohibited from even talking about that, that's something that is extremely dangerous. It's one of the biggest affronts of the First Amendment in the history of our republic.
I agree. And, you know, political speech is supposed to be the most protected kind of speech. And to be told that you can't say on your campaign website things that you feel about this particular case, I don't know. I hope that, I think they are challenging it, these gag orders, but it's just not right. Trump stopped by the cameras on the way into the court today, and he had a lot of stuff on his mind.
I was in Miami this weekend, and reporters are asking me questions, the same questions like you're asking me, and I have to say I have a gag order. I can't speak about it. Never happened before, ever. Number one. Number two, it's a fake trial. They have no case, and it's been absolutely proven now. They have no case whatsoever. This is Alvin Bragg doing it for political reasons for Biden. This is a Biden trial. He's a crooked president. Now, it just came out, Columbia just canceled their commencement. Axios. Columbia just canceled their commencement. That shouldn't happen. And it also came out that the protesters, many of the protesters, are backed by Biden's donors. Okay, are you listening, Israel? I hope you're listening, Israel. Hope you're getting smart. But they're backed by Biden donors. That's where the money's coming from. And I'm not surprised at all. There's many other articles, many of them having to do with the gag order and the unconstitutionality having to do with the gag order. And it is unconstitutional, and it shouldn't be allowed. And I wish people could move a little bit quicker, the appellate courts, because the whole world is watching this, and they see what's happening. More importantly, frankly, they have no case. They have absolutely no case. It's a political hoax. It's election interference. Anything they can do, and even the witnesses they want to bring up, they have nothing to do with the case. This is a ridiculous situation. Not fair, but we will fight. Thank you.
Yeah, he's going to fight it, and I hope he does. But I mean, the bottom line is, the judge said today, look, you are the former president of the United States. You may be the future president of the United States, but I need you to know that if you violate this gag order again, you could do some time in the Gray Bar Hotel. Now, I think, as much as, I wouldn't want to see our former president put through that, I think if he had the cojones to pull that off and actually send Trump to jail, even if it was only, like some people have suggested, he could do it over the lunch hour, or he could send him to jail for one night. I don't care. If you send him to jail and he has to go and sit behind bars for, even if it's only an hour or two, I'm telling you right now, I think it would absolutely propel him to an absolute overwhelming victory in November. I believe that, because every time something like this, comes up where they come at him with another charge, or they come at him with another indictment, or they look like it's and it does look. I mean, it absolutely looks like it's a political prosecution of this guy. Each and every one of these cases are all connected. They've all been checking in with the White House. It's very clear to anybody who's paying even a moment of attention to this that this is all very political. And I think Americans have gotten wind of that. I think that's why some of these polls are now beginning to show a widening of the gap between Trump and Biden. I think they realize this is patently unfair. I think the other thing that, of course, is that people do not like these protests that they're seeing on college campuses around the country, and along with the other things that are concerning them. So, look, I sort of double dog, triple dog, quadruple dog dare him to do it. Just go ahead. You do that and see how it works out for you. And I think he knows that. I think he's aware that I can threaten and I can threaten. You know what? You don't threaten that unless you're willing to follow through. But I think he would pull his punch. I don't think he's actually going to do it. I think he knows that would not work well for him, because this is Obi-Don Kenobi. Every time you think that something's bad, he comes out stronger than before.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
And I believe that. I 1,000% believe that. So I think it's starting to work against the Democrats, as usually is the case. The Democrats have overplayed their point. They've gone too far. And I think that I think they're going to really regret the day that they decided to come up with this stick him with 91 indictment stuff. I think people see that for what it is, and it's not going to work out to their advantage. 50 minutes now past the hour. USS has been around since 1994 with more than 25,000 satisfied residential customers in our area. I mean, if you've got a foundation problem, with the bricks that are cracking or the walls that are bowing, doors or windows that are sticking, drywall separating, or you got a waterproofing problem, standing water in the crawl space, wet basement walls, hardwood floors that are cupping. Well, this is your house just telling you need the folks at United Structural Systems. They'll come out to your house. They'll take a look at what's going on with your particular situation, and they'll come up with a solution. And if you decide to go forward and take care of it, you don't pay a penny until the job is done and you are completely satisfied. At USS, they give you their best, and they are serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, online at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. Here's the number, 615-488-7855.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Grace Point Healthcare is the standard for affordable, comprehensive, and convenient medicine. How? Well, as a direct pay provider, your healthcare is delivered without the red tape of an insurer's guidelines. Smart Care plans make it even more affordable. Starting at $69 a month, you get free office visits and basic labs for the entire year. That really does help. Grace Point identifies and treats the root cause of a condition, not just the symptoms, utilizing a comprehensive and functional approach. And by usually seeing you the same or in some cases the next day, you're treated at your convenience. How rare is that? Grace Point Healthcare, affordable, comprehensive, and convenient medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Located on Main Street in Franklin, here's the number, 599-6868. That's 615-599-6868 to set up your appointment.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Six o'clock, I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Right now, 79 degrees in Nashville and still dealing with those quick-moving storms here in Middle Tennessee. Just a few severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Cumberland, Van Buren, and White counties. Traffic weather forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Derek Dennis filling us in on today's edition of the Donald Trump hush money trial.
A somewhat early into the day in the continuing hush money trial of former President Trump, the jury sent home just after 4 p.m. Eastern time at the end of the testimony of longtime Trump Organization Accounts Payable Supervisor Deborah Tarasoff. She was on the job when Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen submitted invoices in 2017 to be reimbursed for hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels.
What Tarasoff specifically did was receive the already approved invoices and enter them in, and then she personally cut those checks. So she was directly involved in those records, but of course there is no indication or any sense of prosecutors here that they're trying to say she did anything wrong, but on the contrary, she said she just did what she was told.
ABC's Olivia Rubin. At the start of the day, the judge hit Trump with just another fine, $1,000 for his 10th gag order violation.
Back here in Tennessee, growth in Murfreesboro. News 2 reporting that Rutherford County schools are in the top 100 in the nation as far as largest school districts. Over 51,000 students currently enrolled in pre-K through 12th grade. School officials say that'll grow next year by possibly 2,000 people. And they're keeping up with all this population go through construction projects. Right now, they have 3 high schools undergoing additions to their campuses. Over 100,000 square feet be added to Riverdale, Oakland, and Smyrna campuses. Project expected to be completed by August of next year. And that's the same time a new elementary school is scheduled to be open off of Baker Road. And protesters defying an order to remove their encampment at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Dave Packer reporting.
At MIT, a deadline has passed for pro-Palestinian protesters to leave campus or face suspension. This protester.
MIT creates killer drones for the Israeli Ministry of Defense. After 2 weeks of negotiation, MIT cannot confirm if its drones are being used in Gaza.
This pro-Israel counter-protester says the pro-Palestinians are spewing hate speech.
We want peace. We're not against any religion. They are outright saying, kill all the Zionists, river to the sea. So there's a big difference, and it's scary.
Officers called in to separate the two groups.
And a fire in Tennessee, a family of 4 alive, but now homeless after a fire has happened on Berrywood Way around midnight last night with the smoke coming from the roof of the home. Those flames were contained to the house with the neighbors only receiving siding damage. Those parents, 2 kids, escaped safely. The home may be a total loss, and the cause of those flames remaining under investigation, but it does show it sparked in the back of the home and spread then to the rest of the house. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number 1, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number 2, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's 6:06 on Super Talk 99.7. It's been a rock and roll afternoon here with a bunch of thunder showers and thunderstorms moving through the area. And then we also did have a confirmed tornado on the ground in the Smithville area. And watching the local TV stations here, they're now beginning to show us the pictures of some of the damage in the area. Trees down, some houses damaged. And so we did have at least one tornado. And a lot of storms that had rotation in them indicated by radar, and very strange sort of weather day in that the storms came out of nowhere. They blew up very quickly. They became very intense very quickly, and then they rained out pretty quickly in most of the cases. So, and this is not even the worst day weather-wise we're supposed to have this week. We're talking about maybe even more intense weather tomorrow and Wednesday. So, listen, we got lucky. And that, none of the damage looks to be something that's not repairable, but we'll continue to watch and see exactly what happened. I want to, because of all of the storm news that we had going on, I didn't get to do the 2024 update the way I wanted to. We were interrupted by the need to bring people up to date on what was going. So let's try round 2 of that. And I'll try to get a little more information across the goal line. Let's see. I'll start with this. The Trump campaign has reported that it has brought in $76 million in the month of April. The massive campaign funding suggests that the Trump campaign could be gaining ground against the Democrats' fundraising lead. $76 million in April. The campaign and the RNC announced the mammoth funding haul on May 5th in a statement. They noted that roughly half of that amount came from small dollar donations rather than big donors. The fundraising details will be revealed in filings later this month. President Donald J. Trump is not only winning across every battleground state, but they say they are raising the resources necessary to deliver a victory in November, according to Trump campaign senior advisors Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles. About half of the funds raised coming from small donors. It's clear that our base is energized, which takes us to our next story. Is there an enthusiasm gap between Democrats and Republicans? And yes, there is. Fresh polling from Monmouth shows that 63% of Republicans are very or somewhat enthusiastic about the election, compared to just 36% of Democrats. I'm going to repeat that. 63% of Republicans are very or somewhat enthusiastic about the election, compared with just 36% of Democrats. That's a 27-point gap. That's a 27-point enthusiasm gap. The Democrat 27-point gap places Democrat enthusiasm closer to that of independents, a group that usually slots in significantly below firmer partisans. The reluctance extends across key components of the Democrat coalition. Younger voters are less enthusiastic about those 55 and older, and non-white voters are less enthusiastic than white non-college voters, both findings reflected in polling that shows deflated Democrat margins with these groups. That's right. So here we go. Republicans, 63% enthusiastic or very enthusiastic or somewhat. Democrats, 36%. Independents, 27%. 18 to 34-year-olds, 31% of them are enthusiastic. Young people who normally would vote Democrat. Right now, Trump actually has a lead in young voters, surprisingly. But they're not very enthusiastic about voting overall. 55% and 55 years old and older, 47% say that they are very or somewhat enthusiastic. And again, all of these numbers show dramatic changes from December of last year. In fact, Republicans are up 16%. Democrats are are up 15%, but still way behind. Independents up 9%. So there are people starting to get more enthusiastic, but overall, Republicans are much more enthusiastic. What does that mean? Well, I think it means that a lot of people may not feel all that excited about going to the polls. Let's look at some of that stuff right here. ABC did a big round of polling this weekend, and on ABC this week, we learned that Biden is losing minority and young voters.
And Biden seems to be struggling with key demographic groups that he would need to win and win big if he stands a chance of being reelected.
John, there is significant softness in the support for Joe Biden among core Democrats. In this poll, he's carrying black voters by 61 points. Well, that sounds like a lot, but he carried them by 84 points back in 2020.
Did you hear that? I mean, yeah, he's still, Biden still got more black voters than Trump, but not as many as he had the last time around.
Latino voters, a very slight Biden edge in this poll, but it was a 21-point advantage in the exit polls back in 2020. And among younger voters under 30, we're actually seeing Trump with a slight edge. That was a big win for Biden last time around. It's particularly stark to see that difference among voters of color. Black voters under age 50, far less likely in this poll to say they're supporting Joe Biden than older black voters.
All right, let's look at some of the issues.
We're starting to see some daylight open up on the issues that are most salient to voters in polls. Immigration, economy, crime and public safety. These are all Trump areas. He's got a significant advantage in trust in handling these issues. The only areas where Biden has an advantage, healthcare and protecting abortion rights.
There you go. Health care and abortion rights, but everything else seems to be falling toward Trump. The things that people really they say they care about, things like immigration and inflation and the economy, Trump wins big time by as much as 20 points in some places. Here is an article written by Doug Schoen. He's a Democrat pollster, but I really do like Doug Schoen. I've spent more than a few hours with this guy, and I think that he's one of those rare pollsters who will just tell you what the numbers show, but won't try to spin it on you, okay? Now listen to this from thehill.com. Biden's quiet comeback may be over. Immediately following President Biden's State of the Union address in March, the incumbent president saw a surge, I think it's a small surge, in the polls which seemed poised to revive his campaign and re-energize the Democrat Party. But just 2 months later, it increasingly appears that Biden's quiet comeback is running out of steam. Through mid-April, Biden's surge persisted, creating the illusion that Biden had finally found his stride and would ride that momentum into the election. However, polls released this week paint a bleak picture. Indeed, a new national poll from CNN shows former President Donald Trump leading Biden by 6 points in a head-to-head horse race, 49% to 43%. Worse off, just one-third, 34% of voters approve of Biden's handling of the economy, a tried and true metric for how Americans will likely vote. Put another way, if consumer sentiment is any indication of Biden's electoral fate, Democrats have reason to worry. In fact, 65% of registered voters say the economy is extremely important to them, and in analyzing how this group of economic-centric voters plan to cast their ballots, Biden is projected to lose by over 30 points, 62 to 30%. In the same vein, state-level polling from Fox News shows Trump is back in the driver's seat with his New York City trial doing little to dent his numbers. That's true. Nothing seems to be sticking. The poll shows Trump leading Biden in 7 key swing states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin by anywhere from 1 to 5 points, making his path to victory slimmer by the day. Biden's path to victory slimmer by the day. So, again, these numbers, something is, as I told you, something seems to be happening. Now, let me run, as long as we're talking about numbers, let me run through some of these numbers. Job approval. Only 35% of voters approve of the job that Joe Biden is doing as president, and 57% disapprove. 42% of that 57% say they strongly disapprove. Wow, that's not good. That's not a number you want if you're the sitting president. And then rather than give you a lot of different numbers that, some are up, some are down, I think that probably going forward, unless there's something really remarkable about some poll that I see, we're going to start sticking with the Real Clear Politics average of polls. Here's how we're going to do it. General election in a 5-way. See, I think we have to look at the 5-way number because I think we're going to have 5 candidates. I think we're going to have Trump. I think we're going to have Biden. I think we're going to have Kennedy, West, and Stein. And so when you look at the 5-way numbers, on average, that's taking all of the polls and averaging them together, which is, over time shown to be a pretty good way to do it. Trump leads by 2.7. Battleground states, these are the averages again from realclearpolitics.com. Arizona, Trump up by 5. Georgia, Trump up by 3.8. Michigan, must win Michigan, Trump up by 1.2. Pennsylvania, Trump up by 1. That's another must win state. North Carolina, we have Trump up by 5.4. At some point, that's going to stop being a battleground state. That's the average, 5.4. Some numbers are much bigger than that. In Nevada, Trump up by 4.5. Wisconsin up by 1.8. So the numbers are looking pretty good there. And then a couple of things. Rubio, does he want to be the vice presidential running mate? It came up on Fox News Sunday, but it was pointed out that, well, somebody's got to move if you're going to pick Rubio as your running mate because you can't have a president and a vice president from the same state. Here's how he answered that.
I think that before anyone decides to move from their state, you better make sure you move to a state where there's not some DA that makes a career after going after Republicans. Because what we're seeing all over the country right now is the weaponization of our criminal justice system, not just to go after Donald Trump, which is now well documented, right? You have a Biden supporting judge, a Biden prosecutor, in the most liberal county in America on ridiculous charges, and the rest of the world is watching that saying, this is the stuff that America used to sanction other countries for doing. Okay. Well, it's happening here in America. But I think that that's something that we need to be focused on because I do think that has an impact on people's thinking about getting into politics.
Okay. So if you do move, not to New York. That won't be your choice. We got that. But if you decide
that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good guess on that one.
If you decide that you have anything to tell us about that, or if you want to consider your residency elsewhere, let us know, Senator. Thank you.
I don't think Rubio's moving. It'd be pretty easy for Trump to change his residency back to New York if he wanted to pick somebody like, Byron Donalds, Marco Rubio. I don't know, maybe even somebody like Rick DeSantis. I don't think that's going to happen. And then Maxine Waters never fails to disappoint. Maxine Waters doing one of those weekend shows, and I'm just going to play this out. Here we go.
This is a man who we better be careful about. And I tell you what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to ask the Justice Department and I'm going to ask the president to tell us what they're going to do to protect this country against violence if he loses. I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack.
Who are these people up in the hills that are training?
The Hill people.
The Hill people. Look out. There's organizations up in the hills and they're training.
I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack.
I would rather know about these organizations that are causing mayhem on the campus, Maxine. Who are they being, who's supporting those people? I think we know the answer to that as well. Very quick, here's just some headlines. I don't have time to go into great detail. Biden at risk of putting off centrists as he appeals to his left flank. This is the Washington Examiner. Genocide Joe Biden's chances of re-election look bleak. That's townhall.com. And, very quickly, I got to get this in. Apparently, there is talk that Biden is going to shorten his speeches. Yeah, he's going to shorten them. Because when he talks for a long time, it doesn't go very well. Here's a very, well, I don't have time to play it all, but I mean, the guys over at MSNBC were talking about, thank you so much. We need to do this. This is a good thing. Well, you know what? If you say fewer words, you have a chance of screwing up fewer of them, right? But don't worry, because the speeches are going to be shorter and crisper. Okay. I'm looking forward to some of them crisp speeches, because I haven't seen any of those. It is now 21 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock. All right, stinky, stinky, stinky. If that's what it was like the last time you went to an auto repair shop where there were smelly, greasy old rags lying around and it was a filthy place, you didn't want to touch anything. Well, I'll tell you, if another thing that stinks about repair shops, some of them want to keep your car forever. They're not honest, and they don't call you back when they say they will. If that was your last experience at a vehicle repair shop, I want to tell you about Eurofix. Eurofix takes the stink out of European auto repair. At Eurofix, you get a free 15-minute, no-wrench inspection with every estimate at every visit. That no high-pressure sales tactics. At Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. And you'll never pay dealer prices. Eurofix now located in Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and their newest facility in Mount Juliet. Call 844-EUROFIX, that's 844-EUROFIX, or visit myeurofix.com and tell them your friend and radio buddy Brian Wilson sent you.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
It's 26 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Haven't had time to get to this. There's all kinds of stuff I haven't had to get time to because we were so focused on weather there earlier in the show. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson might have faced an ouster vote as early as starting today. Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, was going to put forward the MTV, the motion to vacate, and they thought that might even happen today, and then the clock would start ticking before a vote had to be taken because it would have been a vote that he could not have postponed if she pulled the trigger on it. Well, here's the latest from thehill.com. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson huddled Monday for almost 2 hours with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a marathon meeting suggesting the pair is seeking a deal to diffuse tensions and preclude floor action on the Georgia firebrand's resolution to boot Johnson from power. The two emerged from the Speaker's office separately, but bearing the same message. The discussion was constructive enough that they've agreed to meet again tomorrow. Greene declined to say if she was ready to push through with her plan to force her motion to vacate resolution to the floor, but suggested that she is seeking some assurances from the Speaker that he'll fight harder for conservative policy priorities in negotiations with Democrats, the issue at the heart of both her criticism and her removal effort. I've been patient. I've been diligent, I've been steady, I've been focused on the past, and none of that has changed, says Greene, who was joined by Representative Thomas Massey and another supporter of her resolution, reporters were told today. Now, look, it was never going to go anywhere because the Democrats have said that they'll come across the party line and vote for Speaker Johnson to keep him in place, but that sort of weakens Johnson. He has the support of the vast majority of the Republican caucus, but margins are so thin. We really don't need this right now. I hope that this is Marjorie Taylor Greene looking for a way to save face. And if she comes out of meetings saying, I got the assurances that I need, that the Speaker is going to be more focused on the things that Republicans care about, and that I feel like I've accomplished what I set out to accomplish, so I'm not going to pull the trigger on the motion to vacate. I hope that's what this is all about, because there is nothing good that comes from having to have this vote, in my estimation. I know a lot of people within the sound of my voice think, well, they like Marjorie Taylor Greene, they like what she's doing, but I'm going to tell you, we don't need this right now. It would not look good. It would not work well for the Republican brand. And the Republican brand is sort of important in an election year. So I'm hoping that this is going to be somehow finessed, and that the Speaker is not going to be challenged. She could keep it out there and say, well, I'm not going to pull the trigger now. If he fails to do the things that he promised, then I'll come and pull the trigger on it, and we'll have this vote. But again, even if she has that vote, we're not going to lose Mike Johnson the way it looks as the Speaker of the House. Margins are so thin. You could mess around here and find yourself handing this over to Hakeem Jeffries if you're not careful. And again, that's something, sometimes you think you know how something's going to go on the Hill, and then you find out it didn't go that way at all. It is 30 minutes now past the hour. Time for the news. Busy Bee, when you need heat or cold AC, they're the place to call. And you know what? The way you make sure your system doesn't crap out when you don't want it to crap out is to make sure that you're doing preventative maintenance. And that's what being a member of the Beehive Club is all about. When you become a member of our Beehive Club, starts at $99. You get 3 annual tune-ups, 1 for heating, 1 for cooling, 1 for plumbing. You get 10% discount on repairs. You get priority front-of-the-line service. You get $100 in annual accrued replacement credits with a maximum of $1,000 built up over time. No overtime or holiday fees, and you get access to exclusive Beehive member promotions. And here's the other thing. You got a big heating and cooling project? No interest if paid in full within 15 months. Plumbing? 18 months. Listen, I tell you what, every time I've needed them, they've been there. I am a member of the Beehive Club. It's the way to go. So for satisfaction guaranteed, call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833, online at busybeehvac.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
.38 minutes now past the hour at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. We've got about 22 minutes left before we hand things over to the news. And after the news, it's Mark Levin. He'll be here. They always say that. He's here.
He's always real close to the microphone when he says it, too.
He's here. He's here. I love that. Nobody ever says that when I show up. They say, oh, he's here.
Oh, he's here.
He's here. Oh, yeah. I got a bunch of stuff here. I just want to sort of plow through this. It's no particular order. Tennessee, I talked about this late Friday, but I think it's something to think about. Parents, pay attention. Tennessee will require social media companies to get parental consent for minors. Social media companies, according to the Tennessee Star, in Tennessee will need to verify parental consent before allowing minors to create accounts in the state starting January 1st. Governor Bill Lee signed the bill, which, along with age verification and parental consent, requires social media companies to allow parents access to monitor the account with privacy settings, daily time restrictions, and creating breaks where the minor cannot use social media. How about that? Parents know best, and we must empower them with tools to protect their kids online. The Hill also allows the Tennessee Attorney General to bring action against any company for a violation and allows the Attorney General to recover the cost of bringing the action. House Bill 1891 does not apply to peer-to-peer payment platforms, cloud storage, or technical support apps. So once again, as we get closer to January, I'm sure we're going to have to figure out exactly how this all works and how parents are going to, have to be brought into the loop on this stuff. But anyway, that has become the law, and it's been signed into law by the governor. Boeing is set to blast NASA astronauts into orbit this evening. I think it's at 9:34 Middle Tennessee time. It will carry two NASA astronauts into orbit on this brand new Boeing Starlight capsule. Now, there were two capsules that NASA contracted for. One is the SpaceX, which developed the Dragon capsule, and that's been working for a while now. That's how we're getting to the International Space Station these days. We're doing it with the Dragon capsule. And we're not relying on the Russians anymore. Thank you, Elon Musk. And by the way, that has proved to be a very robust system. Well, these two contracts were led at the same time, and Boeing has had delay after delay after delay after delay. And this is the first time that Boeing is going to try to actually put people in the capsule and deliver it all the way to the International Space Station. A very critical test. I got to tell you, you got to be a braver person than I right now, giving all of the problems that Boeing has had, having trust in that concept. But nonetheless, it will happen. And then I saw this story, and I thought, man, I want to meet this guy. Maybe when he comes back, I would like to have him on as a guest. Astronaut Barry Wilmore will be one of the two. And guess what? He's from Mount Juliet, born and raised here in Tennessee. And not only that, not only is he a man of space, he's a man of faith, which I love. Astronaut, this is, by the way, a beautiful profile written in the Tennessean. I just want to give him credit for that. It was a nice piece. Astronaut Barry Butch Wilmore tries to describe the burst of orange from a sunset or sunrise that as it hits the International Space Station for a few seconds. You see, he's been to space before. He's got 178 days in space. He's been there twice before. Wilmore already is a veteran of 2 space flights, 178 days. He says there is amazement in his voice as he tries to describe the visual sunlight being broken down into prism-like colors that evolve into a predominant orange. The magnitude of the creator of all of it, Wilmore said, in what stands out to be this experience of space travel. To view the heavens and the planet the Lord designed to support life is just absolutely amazing. It's hard to put into words, actually. Wilmore, who connects his firsthand view of the universe's orbital mechanics to his self-described biblical worldview, is about to go on his third launch as part of this test of the NASA's Boeing Starliner to the International Space Station. Tennessee will be watching. He is a graduate of Mount Juliet High School in the 80s, went on to get an engineering degree. He played football at Mount Juliet High when he graduated in 81, went on to Tennessee Tech University, where he was a team captain. In fact, the Mount Juliet Middle School football field, which is where he played his games back in his high school days, is now named after him. And so I love the fact that that he cares so deeply about his faith and cares so deeply about being from Tennessee. Now they have to now, all astronauts live in the area around Houston, Pasadena, Texas. But listen to this. Wilmore and his wife, Deanna, have 2 daughters. They live outside of Houston. He is a lay elder at the Providence Baptist Church in Pasadena, Texas, where he has taught children, been involved in a prison ministry, done building projects, and has gone on to mission trips outside the country. When I first met him, staff elder Tommy Don said, I asked him what he did for a living, and he said, I work at NASA. You know, if I were an astronaut, you asked me what I do. So, well, I'm an astronaut. That would start a conversation. But he just said, no, I just work at NASA. Nothing is below him. He never stops. His mind is so organized. He will take Tennessee memorabilia with him. He'll carry a Predators jersey. Yeah. A hat, a Tennessee Tech football and baseball jersey, a Tennessee state flag, and other local items aboard the Starliner for this launch. It will be a short trip up and back in about 1 or 2 weeks. The reason that there are 2 is that they want to have 2 systems. Should something go south with one, you have a backup with the other. As I said, the Dragon capsule has been operating for some time now, but they want to have 2 complete independent systems so that they can continue to know we will always have access to the International Space Station and to space. All right? So, again, I want to get this guy booked. Chris, we're going to have to work on this. You know, keep track of when he gets back and, you know, he's got to go through a bunch of debriefs and all that kind of stuff. But at some point, we ought to be able to get him on the air.
Sounds like a fascinating guy.
Oh, I would love to talk to him. I could talk to him for hours, I bet. So we'll put in that request when he gets back. All right. All kinds of stuff here. Is it safe for your pets to eat cicadas? You know, and we've got them here in Watertown. I got out in one little area of, I guess it was Saturday morning. No, was it Sunday morning? I think it was, where it looked like it was going to be okay. And I got out and mowed real quick and got it all done. But I noticed that a lot of cicadas in my yard. And we're not even close to the peak yet. But a lot of people are seeing them. And the question is, well, what about cicadas and your dog? If your dog starts eating cicadas, is it a bad thing? Well, the experts, according to WKRN, say in most cases, your dog will be fine if he or she only eats a few cicadas. However, dogs that gorge on the large, crunchy insects will find the exoskeletons difficult to digest and can suffer serious consequences. The after effects of eating cicadas can include severe stomach upset, abdominal pain, vomiting, bloody diarrhea. Some dogs may even need, if they really overdo it, may need intravenous fluids, pain medications, and some anti-nausea drugs.
That doesn't sound good at all.
No. So, again, keep an eye on your dog. If your dog is out there just gobbling them up, maybe not a good thing.
Yeah.
But if 1 or 2 gets consumed, probably not a lot to worry about. Morgan Wallen is going to open up a Nashville bar where I hope all the chairs are bolted into something where they can't be used and thrown around.
Pull up a chair.
Pull up a chair. Don't throw them. Just pull them up. Wallen, who's the latest country star to open his venue, will be open on Memorial Day weekend. That's not far from now. The 6-story venue. You don't want to throw.
No.
From 6 stories. No. It's called This Bar and Tennessee Kitchen. 30,000 square feet, feature 3 live music stages, 6 bars, and yes, there's an open-air rooftop. The venue will also feature a gift shop with Wallen merchandise. As you know, he waived his right to appear in court on Friday, the same day that he had a concert. He did 3 shows in a row from Nissan, which did you hear that there were like 42,000 people who came to Nashville this weekend? 42,000 flew in.
Oh, flew in, yeah.
Flew in, and then we're going to fly out.
I bet that was fun.
I bet that was crazy over at B&A. So anyway, it's going to be at right next to the Ryman Auditorium at 107 4th Avenue North.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that'll be nice. That's nice. I meant to tell you this. We need to do this tomorrow. You need to find that Randy Travis song that came out the other day.
Oh, I heard a little bit of that. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
Interesting.
Because what I'm interested in to find out about is this is a guy, of course, that's 65 years old, is a stroke survivor. Really, his speech and all of that is really is sort of been impacted by all that. But he came out with a song, and it's AI. In other words, they took his voice and all of his singing and all of the stuff and fed it into a computer and then had him sing a song that he never really sang, but it's in his style with his voice.
Sounds like a Randy Travis song.
It does. It really does. So we'll pull that one up. We'll talk about this again tomorrow. I think that's going to be sort of interesting to watch. Finally, the state of Arkansas is replacing its two statues in Statuary Hall, Johnny Cash and civil rights leader Daisy Bates. The man in black will be up on Capitol Hill. 50 minutes now past the hour.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.